Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Time for another session with Brother Ron from We All Be TV, the great warrior. He should be on in a couple of minutes. This brother is a champion and a strong black man. I can't wait to be on this podcast with him one more time. We're going to be discussing the zeitgeist, spirit of time, and what we need to do after this selection. A lot of people don't know that the election really is not going to be decided really until probably November 12th, and the Electoral College meets on December 14th. And they're also trying to push it back to January 2nd of this year. So get ready, and let's hope that we will be able to last for a long time. But we got to fight for it. It's wartime. Game's up. Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey, happy whatever this is going to be.
Well, one thing is my dad's 82nd birthday, so that's
all right.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
So I'm here. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, you his greatest gift.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm the youngest in the pack. I'm 33. The brother's 59. The sister's 55. You know,
that's interesting. Interesting dynamics there.
I'm the only son of my mother who died April 4th, 2018, and that would be also very interesting. 50 years since the death of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, she died on the 50th anniversary, and also that's the the 46th anniversary of the death of Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who's also a son of a very famous minister up in New York, Great Abyssinian Church.
Yeah, how are you doing, you strong black man?
I'm doing fine, man. I just came from working out. I'm getting ready for the Civil War.
Hey, look. Hey, look, man. That's what I wanted to talk about. So we got to get this out of this Civil War, man. Good Lord, man. I was out last night, man.
Okay.
They almost said it need to be a Civil War in the goddamn club I was at, man. I said, shit, man.
What's going on? What's going on in the club?
Man,
I'm surprised you went out on Halloween, because a lot of people didn't go out. I know they had parties, but people were just because 2020 is a horror movie for a lot of people.
Hey, look, man.
To me, it's a dark comedy, but for other people, it's a horror movie.
Well, that's why I went out. That's why I got in there after when the clock hit November 1st. I saw a lot of women with their cattails on. I said, "What in the world?"
So my guys had cattails on.
The girls, they had cattails on.
Well, that WAP.
Well,
meow want to get fed.
Yeah, well, I saw a couple of things. I saw something. I said, man, and that's why I texted you. I said, look, man, I couldn't believe what I saw, man. So it was a young lady. She looked like she was shy, and her friend tried to hook up with a guy, right? But I couldn't believe to see a black girl get escorted by her friends to go talk to the white guy who was security guard and ask him for his number. I said, damn, these women are screwed up in 2020.
Well, our women have betrayed us for a long, long time. You can't talk about police brutality and not talk about abortion. Abortion have killed more black males than police brutality. So our black women have been traitorous to the black family.
Well, actually,
in the protection of Joe Biden.
You know, Kanye West actually said this on Joe Rogan's interview a couple of days ago, maybe about Planned Parenthood has killed more black babies than
No, black people help kill more black babies. Planned Parenthood can't do that without our consent.
Yeah,
Let's get it right. We got to stop this. We got to hold up. I don't want to do no more marching and no more hashtagging until you stop them killing black folks from getting here first. Because you ain't really respected by the system, because you're not even considered a whole human being, and you killing folks before they could get here. You might be killing the folks that could save us from this hell.
That's right. Well,
the ancestors coming back, man. They mad. They already here. They mad as hell.
I'm actually, that's why J. Edgar Hoover said, hey, look, you got to stop the black messiah so you don't kill the
Yeah, but
whole.
Dick, who was black too? It's black folks screwing over black people. It's like Dr. Redden show. We're gonna have to have a civil war, man. It's coming to that point.
Hey, look,
Forget
man.
about not inviting somebody or disinviting somebody to the Thanksgiving or Misgiving dinner because they voted a certain way. We're gonna have to. It's gonna come a point. It's coming. Well, we're gonna have to just settle up and cash in what we gotta do with our traders. They're gonna have to pay a price. Ain't gonna be no. We gonna let them. I ain't gonna even talk about that. But I'm saying we gonna have to make some tough decisions.
Hey, well, look, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I saw you with your look like you well, we got the lovely Queen Dana. You know Dana.
Who's Dana?
Queen Dana.
She come on the show. She here?
Yeah, she's in the. Why
don't you come and join us? We need some feminine, some righteous feminine energy. We didn't know who the sisters out there for us. So we got a lot of black women are traitors. A lot of traitorous black women. They have to be dealt with.
Well, let me give her a shout out. Let me give her a shout out because Dana has.
Oh, that's Dana from Jersey.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she is gorgeous. I love her. She's a fine. Fine mind too, but I'm saying fine all around. I love Dana, man. I love her.
She said, email her the link.
Yeah, Dana. Oh, it's my dream has come true. Thank you, brother King BJ. Lord.
We need this. Let me see.
I love her. I feel good to be a black man right now, bro. All the black folks get killed, but it feels good to be a black man right now. Yes, sir.
Let me go about. The same thing is.
This is a classic already, King BJ. This about to be a classic episode.
I'm looking at my thing. Let me look at my clipboard. I'm trying to say.
All right, take your time, bro. We got a lot to talk about.
Let me see. Can I get her in on here? Let's see if this is it. Hope that's it. That should be it. Let's see. Hope I wrong, man. I sent a text to her phone, but that's okay.
I love it's something about Jersey women. They are sexy. They just like I like they swagger, they edge, like even the singers from Jersey. You gotta think about Sarah Vaughan and Whitney Houston, then Queen Latifah. There's something about Jersey women. They got the attitude, that swagger. They some good sisters out in Jersey. I love Jersey women.
Well, I enjoy calling her podcast, and I even
I hear you on there. Yeah, you a fan. I know you a super fan. I think I enjoy listening to her podcast. I like how she handled Judge Joe Brown.
That's right.
I love how she handled Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah,
he could be a handful for a lot of people.
She says she disagrees with Brother Ron that one about abortion, but if she gets the link, maybe
we want to hear why black women are okay, with letting their legs be or gateways to the self-destruction for the black race.
Okay, well, I texted
you up in I-95, right, by the slave dungeon, whatever that is. Yeah, the African burial ground. Was he married to a black woman?
Who?
The guy who did that slave dungeon stuff over there by I-95 downtown Richmond. By the African burial ground. Was he married to a black woman?
Let me go back and check it up, man. I'm gonna tell you.
Was Jefferson Davis married to a black woman? The president of the Confederacy?
Yes,
Jefferson Davis?
Yeah.
Was the vice president of the Confederacy married to an out-the-room mulatto black woman, Creole, whatever, from New Orleans?
Hey, man. You know what I call it?
What?
Hey, man. In order to assimilate a race, you got to have some traitors from the race to get in and assimilate into different cultures. That's what you got with Barack Obama.
Well, his mama was white, though. But here's the thing. Yeah. They kill out the strong man. Who going to protect the woman? The woman, if all the strong brothers get killed, like when they invade the country, they kill out all the strong alpha males. They enslave them, kill them, and they take the women. So how can we protect black women if you killing the guys that you kill them before they get here? You killing the black men before they get here with the abortion.
She said, give her 2 minutes, brother Ron.
All right, I'm just warming it up. That's all. Warming it up. Even King George III, right? We talk about the royal family. He was married to an out-the-room mulatto girl named Queen Charlotte from the House of Mecklenburg. Who think Charlotte's named after? And where you think that county and where Charlotte's located name is Mecklenburg. You in Virginia, Fredericksburg, all these houses and stuff, all this royal bullshit. You
All right,
in
let me
Maryland
get
with the
her on.
Jesuits.
Let me
You
get her
know.
on.
Hey.
Oh, it's Queen Dana.
how you
What's
doing?
up?
Okay, so I'm not on video because it's Sunday.
Oh, rest day. Okay. Impromptu.
Yes, I mean, I don't know. I could just throw on some lipstick or
Now we
something,
would
but
love to see you. It'd be an honor. It would make my whole
Yeah,
year.
come
It'd be
on over.
2020
first
would
of
be
all,
perfect.
Brother Ron, I've been subscribed to your channel for years, so I'm
I
a
didn't
big
even know
fan
that.
of yours.
Wow.
Yes, when you did a whole lot of interviews with Dick Gregory, that's what started opening my eyes up to a lot of things I didn't know. And then you was doing interviews with the judge for years,
Right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
and who is? Oh my God, I'm scared of him, but
Dr. Randy Shaw, you should have him on. I heard you being, why you being scared of that? Put disclaimer. I put disclaimers on my stuff. I ain't responsible for these
yeah,
folks saying
I
this
think
stuff.
I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
go ahead and put a
because
disclaimer on it. you know,
he
that's
too
why
real.
he raw. Doctor, he been through it though. He been traumatized. Like all of us been traumatized.
hmm
It's veterans to it.
Right, but I love him. So yeah, I've been a fan of yours for a very, very, very
Oh,
long
it means
time.
a lot to me. You made my whole year. Wow, I didn't have no idea. I thank you for the super chat too. I saw you did a super chat not too
Yeah,
long ago. I got to return the favor.
yeah, no, thanks. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
So what we because you mentioned abortion, but I know you're gonna
hmm
talk about a lot of stuff today, but I mean I disagree on the abortion thing because I think that's an easy statement that people make, especially if they're running for office, to
hmm
say that, particularly even to just blame it on Black women, because a lot of women have abortions, not just Black women, and a lot of white women probably have more because they have private insurance, which is probably not counted for where we're getting these stats from, because a lot of Black people are on Medicaid, so that's automatically counted in the data. But a lot of men, Black men, they do sponsor these abortions too. So it's not all on the Black woman's shoulders when it comes to abortion. And the reason why women do have abortion, particularly Black women, is because they're poor. So if we're going to say, oh, let's gut out Roe versus Wade, and the reason why I'm against that is because I say I'm pro-choice, not for you to have an abortion, but for you to have that choice. So
hmm
don't try to tell me what to do with my body because that should be between me and my physician. However, we're going to discuss being pro-life, then it has to start not just in the womb, but after that baby is born. There's a lot of things that have to be put in place. You have to make sure that I do have the proper health care, especially for Black women when it comes to maternal care that we don't have, housing, enough time off from work that I'm still getting paid so I could pay my bills while I'm taking care of my newborn child. So it's a lot of things that come into play while women make the decision not to go to full term with that child, not to, have a child because they're poor and it takes money to raise a child and they're not married. And then a lot of times the guy who they have the baby with, he doesn't want a baby right now, neither. So he's giving her the money to have an abortion. So it's a two-way street.
I definitely agree with all you just said. And the thing about it is this is a death culture though. I mean, like you can't argue about police brutality when we are allowing ourselves to be used to kill our own people off because the system does not care about people as human beings. Like we was considered 3/5 right in the Constitution. So we never
Well,
as Black
technically, the
people.
Judge Joe Brown corrected that if he wasn't considered 3/5 of a person, and I actually read the Constitution is not in there. What they were saying with the 3/5 was if you own 3/5 of slaves, not a person being 3/5 of a person.
But it's still like we're not counted as whole human beings in this franchise, in this system. And it's in there too as well. It's in there. And Judge, there's some things that Judge be saying. I'm gonna have to correct him on when I get him on when he give me a chance to talk. He all over the place, but 3/5 is in the Constitution. But what I'm saying is our lives as Black people is not respected when you've been programmed not to respect ourselves because a minimum wage should be almost $30 an hour. And people talking about
Right.
15 and $10. See, we do ourselves a disservice when we don't fight for a certain quality of life and we accept this treatment. We teach our children to accept this treatment. We're damning generations to come. Now, abortion is necessary in an evil ass system like this because, like you said, it does not provide people a sense of worth or a chance to earn a living.
Ron,
Yeah.
Bro, look, I know daggone well this is about to get kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
You know that guy Jay Harris say he want to talk to you?
Yeah. People were trying to hook me up. Okay, go ahead.
No. He want to get on too.
Yeah, bring everybody. It's the end of the world. Bring everybody on. Bring them
Yeah.
Jay
all.
Harris.
He's from San Antonio. My mom was going to write him early this morning to get me on this show. This is crazy how the universe works. And I'm a big fan of Dana, and I like Jay Harris, what he's been doing, what I've been seeing from him. So yeah, bring it all.
Yeah, well, let me say something about Dana right quick. I just want to bring some Dana. Like I went to go see Brother Rod and out there. Like I said, I try to make a round to come see everybody. So many people put out great content. For some reason, I'm just trying to circle the wagons on everybody. So hopefully I can get to Jersey soon. Philly, Jersey, Delaware. Doesn't matter. I just like to travel to meet people.
Well, Dana, you might be moving to North Carolina, right? You think about North Carolina?
I'm thinking about North Carolina because I have family there. I like it down there, and
yeah, the brothers love you down in North Carolina. I already know that.
I mean, I guess, but
I mean, you good woman.
I haven't really experienced like the social life too much because COVID. Mm-hmm. I used to go down there for the CIAA in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I was there this year.
Yes, but I haven't been there in probably 5 years or something, probably more than that. But but with the COVID thing, it's I haven't really been socializing too much when I go down there. But I do like it down there. So yeah, I'm planning on.
Yeah, you feel right there. They'll love you down there. I already know.
Yeah, I mean, even not just Black people, but just overall, the people of North Carolina and their attitude, the way they live, it's I mean, you're not gonna find a perfect place, but it's definitely different from Jersey and the tri-state area. I love the tri-state area. I'm a city girl, but I need something different,
Okay. Wait a minute, we got Jay Harris on the show now.
Hi, greetings everybody. How you doing?
Brother Jay, how you doing, man?
Good. No, I was just listening in, and I was just listening to what the dear sister was saying about the pro-choice and the pro-life. I understand what she was saying. I just wanted to chime in on that. I personally believe that it should be a 50-50 choice between a man and a woman because it takes two people to make it. Oftentimes, the woman has more of the choice whether she wants to keep the baby and put you on child support or whether she wants to just get the abortion or not. And it takes two to make it. Unless it's a circumstance where it's rape, I think it should be 50-50 down the middle. I don't think you should have the pleasure to just lay up with somebody, have a baby, and then you get to decide whether you want to keep it or not. And it seems like it's more catered towards women. I think it should be split just 50-50 down the middle.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. And also, I don't believe in child support either. I don't believe in state-sponsored child support. Y'all, you pick and choose. It takes two. So why lay up with somebody that ain't worth a damn? Why give up that part of your body that's sacred for a person that ain't worth a damn?
Right. You make that decision, then that's the decision you got to live with. So you should be more careful who you lay with.
Because they don't
just be like that. And I think the whole Black community would change if that happened. I would think you would see a whole reconstruction of the Black community if I believe Black women knew they couldn't go to the state government and get all these opportunities and the advantages from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me say something to you and Harris and Dana. Usually this doesn't happen, but I am so glad to have both of you on because Jay Harris came and spotted me out the ashes. And, I mean, I just do it to give people because I'm a little bit of a wild one. I'm just gonna be dead honest with you. Like I told Brother Ron, if I came to Memphis and he didn't take me to a Black restaurant, it'd be some problems, man. So
wait, is the Southern food, the Black food different in Memphis compared to Virginia?
Oh hell yeah.
Well,
no disrespect. We the capital of barbecue. Henry Perry was a Black man from Shelby County. That's where Memphis is located. He's the father of modern barbecue. He went to Kansas City back in the 1900s, and he taught the guys that founded Arthur Bryant's and Gates Barbecue up in Kansas City. My folks from Kansas City, and I had and Charlie Parker, the great Charlie Parker, whose centennial is this year. His father's from Memphis. Louis Armstrong's second wife is from Memphis. But Memphis is a barbecue capital because every May we have the Memphis in May International Barbecue Competition. So we known for our barbecue. So you ever come through here, it's a whole bunch of barbecue places. I have to come through there. Yeah, that's some of the top barbecue in the country, in the world.
Okay. Maybe we can have what they call a all group meeting, and I might even bring who Judge Joe Brown called my secretary. She's not my secretary. But she did do a wonderful job of recording on Facebook. Of course, I'm in jail again for trying to report the Hunter Biden story, so you know how that goes.
Yeah.
They put me in jail all the time for reporting information.
Why
But
they don't put Biden in jail? Why they don't put the Biden crime family in jail? I don't understand. They put the wrong people in jail all the time.
Yeah,
I'm talking about real jail.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But I want to talk to everybody and we'll go around the board. So we're gonna start with ladies first, and I want to ask Dana about this hashtag going on called "Blame Black Men," and black men are the Jamel Hill says the worst in society, the patriarchy.
She said that?
Yeah, she said that. She said it. She said they are the new white men, basically. You know, they don't want to dismantle patriarchy. They just want a better position in it.
Yeah. You know what? I never really listened to her. She is a good journalist. But when she did his and hers, I didn't really like her on that. I don't know. I just didn't. I could never really. Sorry about that. I could never really get into her, but I don't like that. See, you know why they're doing it. And this is what I'm saying as far as black men to not get distracted. They're doing that, and the Democrats is just as nasty as anybody else, if they're worse. But they're doing it because they know black men are voting Republican. Black men are supporting the Second Amendment. They're coming together. You know what I'm saying? They are standing up for themselves, and whether they get attacked or not, whether it's through the media, whether it's in real life, you starting to see strong black men resurface. And that is a threat to society because, yeah, like you were saying earlier, that's always been a threat to this American society and really to the world. So that is a threat to the Democratic Party. And, so they can't afford to have black men vote even by 10% or 15% Republican, because then they're going to lose, right? They already know black women are sold up in the Democratic Party. And then even with that alone, it's a divide with the black women and the black man, because if your man is voting Republican, a lot of times you should follow that man, So they are a threat, but in a good way for our race, but in a bad way for everybody else. And Jamil Hill, she a lot of these people in election season, they get dirty, they get nasty, and they're paid to destroy whoever so that they party wins.
Okay, that's good. Because I want to just mention one more thing to you. Yesterday, Roland Martin, he came out and said, "You want to listen to black rappers? Listen to Common." So that was a diss about Lil Wayne, 50 Cent.
Why do we even care about Roland Martin? Like, no offense, and he is intelligent. He's good at what he does, but at the same time, I'm sorry, like. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Roland Martin is for the Democrats. So these are people who are just biased. He always calling people stupid. He is a horrible interviewer. Horrible.
Yes, he is.
So,
All right, Harris, go ahead and give your take on this.
I think right now there's an attack on black men. I really do. There's an attack on black men right now for having an opinion. If you have an opinion right now, you're frowned upon. And it seems like not all, but it seems like there's a small percentage of black women that are seem like maybe they're jealous of black men. They want us to take the back seat, but it's time for us to man up, like as Judge say. So it's pretty interesting, but that's just what I believe right now. There's an attack on us right now.
And Brother Rod, go ahead.
Well, the black man is the most disrespected group in the whole country. The black man, it's not the black woman. Malcolm said that was a different time. Then we didn't have social media and all the stuff we have now. So there's been an attack on strong black male, alpha hetero black males. We're not even allowed to reach our prime. They killed Malcolm and Martin at 39. That's not their prime. They killed Medgar Evers at 37. They killed Fred Hampton basically in the crib at 21. You know what I'm saying? We're not allowed to mature into our own. They love black males, but they hate black men.
Yeah.
We are a lot of males. All the mainstream black males are not men.
I gotta write that down.
LeBron James, he's a male. He's a super freak of an athlete, but he's a male. He said he's afraid of the damn police. I've been getting pulled over by the police since I was 11 years old on bicycles. And I'm 40-year-old man. I ain't scared of no damn police. You know what I'm saying? Why you saying that? You don't speak for me. You getting us killed by being scared. My maternal grandfather was a part of D-Day. He was part of the Red Ball Express, the truck drivers, that delivered supplies to the troops, General Patton's Third Army, after D-Day. You know, Medgar Evers was a part of the Red Ball Express as well. And he said that they were told by Eisenhower and other people in command, he said the best way to survive this is to run towards enemy fire. Don't run away from it. Run towards it, because you run away, you get exposed more. You have a better chance going to the fire, going towards the gunfire than you do running away from it. And we at a point of no return. It's a confrontational point where we're going to have a civil war within our own community to deal with the traitors of our community.
Well, let me say something about that. You're right about dealing with the traitors. Another thing, like I said, I mean, I always tell people, I mean, why are you scared to say anything to white people? Like I had a guy say, well, why did you tell people in a city hall meeting that? Because I don't care. I mean, like, what are you scared? You talk to black people like a dog. Why can't you talk to white people the same way? I said, look, Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, and Dr. Khalid Muhammad is somebody I used to, I still study intensely, as a matter of fact. Hey, look, man. Hey, look, knock them all off to me. But the thing is, people don't have, well, some people do. But people who have that spirit are suppressed and stuff. You would tell me, oh, don't say anything. I had a lady tell me, don't say anything to get my white friends upset, because they might not, they might not give me a promotion in my job. As a matter of fact, sometimes I DJ for fun, right? And I had a girl actually tell me, well, I can't bring you to a party, where white people are, because I don't want you to say something out the way to them. I said, y'all are some cowards, man. I said, well, that's why I don't DJ for white folks anyway. It doesn't even matter. But at the same time, but you to tell me that you're scared because you think I might say something. First of all, energy breeds off energy, right? So white folks know when you're serious and when you're not. They don't even come to me with that. They can tell by how the way your body language is that you're not gonna deal with them. And that's why I'm so sick and tired of LeBron James coming and say black men are scared and we're the most hunted, and you got the little boy hiding behind a truck, and like people saying, oh, we need Black Lives Matter to help us because the white folks are trying to save us. No, they co-opted your agenda, and then they make you feel like you need white people. Like, even with the situation out there in Philadelphia, and like I say, I feel sorry for what happened, but I'm just letting people know you cannot, they say they call the ambulance, but if you got strong men in the neighborhood, you don't need to call nobody. You could just come in there and take him down yourself. If you felt that he was that terrified, you say the police came 3 times in one day. Why don't the men in the neighborhood happen? So that's a disconnect that we have. But I do understand the sentiment, but you can't say fuck the police and then call them. That doesn't even make sense. I mean, just police your own community. That's how I look.
Give me 2 minutes, guys.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, look, go ahead. You take your 2 minutes. Hey, look, Brother Ron, let me say something. You know what a friend of mine told me?
What?
She told me, you don't interview enough women, so I'm glad that Dana actually joined the podcast.
Yeah, but black men are not heard at all on mainstream media. A real black man, you can't have a brother Malcolm X. People still scared of Malcolm X. He's been dead for 55 years.
Yeah.
It's the idea of a Malcolm X. It's the hate that hate produced. It's like with the white friends, you have no white friends. All white people are racist. It's a spectrum like autism. They all racist because it's the system that benefits them. A black person cannot be racist in this system. See, human nature, you could be hate-filled, you could be love-filled, you could be bigoted, and you could be prejudiced. That's human emotional traits. But racism is a system that is defined to privilege a certain group of people at the disrespect and exploitation of another group of people, which I consider the permanent underclass. It's like when you talk about black excellence in a system like this, it's like we are the scorched part of the pot. So every now and then, some speckles from that scorched part will rise to the top. That's about it. So what benefit does it make when one person is successful, like LeBron James or Barack Obama, when the majority of your people are catching hell?
That's right.
This system is not made. How can you talk about police brutality and not deal with the systemic evil of abortion?
That's right.
Walter Wallace, we all fucked up. We all got issues because of what we're dealing with. We deal with personal trauma. We're dealing with generational trauma. It's unresolved because we keep on playing the same game and not willing to get out that circle and run straight. Like I said, you got to confront the gunfire. We got to confront it, and we got to meet force with force. You got to speak their language. Why is that we okay? Like Brother Malcolm said, when they want you to bleed, you bleed for the white man. When he send you to Korea, you bleed for the white man in Korea, but you won't bleed for your own people in Mississippi. That's a problem. We the best soldiers, but we don't fight our own battles for us. We don't believe in liberating us. We don't believe in self-determination. Because we did, we wouldn't be dealing with the stuff we've been dealing with for 400 years.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But also, hey, Harris, Jay Harris.
Yes.
Don't forget before you leave this show today to get these two
Absolutely.
in Texas, because you got a radio show
Absolutely.
out there.
That'd be
And hopefully on your radio show, I know you say it's a little bit of a conservative thing and y'all debating stuff, so maybe you can scare the hell out of a couple people.
Yeah. It was shocking. Absolutely.
You know, because you got a different audience.
Absolutely.
But you did have the judge on this week, and you know, it was pretty good. But you also had Brother Gavin, Rashard, and others. So you know, so you got a audience. Like I said, I don't know everybody in your audience, but I'm glad that. And
my mom likes his show. I mean, she tried to write you early this morning. I said, "Oh, I ain't worried about it." And then you happen. Here it is, the universe.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Yeah, my mom has a lot of respect for you.
Thank you.
Well, I say one thing. I am so glad that all of y'all people still have your. Well, I don't know about Dana, but I mean, you know, I think she does. But everybody
getting her makeup on. We want to see that pretty face of hers. She getting her makeup. She getting game ready. It was worth all the hell we went through the 2020 to see Dana, you know, dressed up for us on this Sunday.
Well, like I said, I mean, y'all guys have your mothers and stuff like that. I mean, you know, but hey, look, like I told a guy a couple of weeks ago, like, you know, talking to people and branching out and talking to you guys and plenty of others. I told a guy, I used to tell my best friend, when down here, he's 61 years old, one of my best friends, I tell him, man, sometimes you just feel like you're fighting this battle by yourself, but at being on this podcast with three of you, let me know I ain't fighting this battle by myself. So, you know, it is what it is. So I'm glad to, you know, do that and, you know, talk to you now. I will say this. Now, I got to ask a question, and Dana comes back in. We'll ask her the question, but I will ask Jay Harris. You're in Texas, right?
Correct.
Now, I know that is a Republican state, right?
Correct.
So, black men in Texas aren't as scared of Donald Trump as in the South. Well, I don't think black men are scared of Donald Trump. Not all of them. Some of them are, but not all of them.
Well, they're not men though. They males.
That's the key.
Yeah, they not
That's
men.
the key.
Yeah.
But you don't have a problem with the presidency of Donald Trump, do you, Jay Harris?
Absolutely not. No, I think he's a better pick than Biden, to be honest. Right now, he's a way better pick than Biden. Trump just mans up. He just talks really crazy, and he may not have any manners, but I don't go by that. Like, I don't need to be stroked. I just want to know your policies and what you're about, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, you saw this week they're getting on Lil Wayne a little bit, but, I mean, really, like, you're not going to do nothing to Lil Wayne. They like 50. Let me say something to you, and I'm going to say this. 50 Cent really is 20 Cent now, because when I saw Chelsea Handler and I saw that damn hag, hey, Dana, I don't know where Dana's at, but Dana, don't let 50 Cent ever talk bad about black women anymore, because I mean, good Lord, I mean, that just was a hag. I think Dana might be in her 40s. That woman's 45, and I thought she came out of a witch movie. You know, like I thought she was Cruella de Vil riding the goddamn broom or something. But
it was Halloween yesterday.
Well,
every day for her. It's Halloween every day for her. All right.
She back.
Oh yeah, black.
But all jokes aside, Dana, do not. If 50 Cent ever talks about black women, you just need to tweet him on Twitter and say, "Look, you cannot talk about black women. That hag that I saw that actually told you can't vote for Trump because you're a black person." That was insulting. But then again, the Boulay didn't back 50 Cent, and that's why I said you can talk about Candace Owens all you want, but you don't even defend her when she said something. So I mean, I just don't get the idea of 50 doing that. And by him backing
But
down.
why didn't 50 Cent clap back at Chelsea? Like, why did he felt like he was acting like a simp? So it was like, I'm going to defend him when he folded to a white woman.
He couldn't.
No. I'm not saying. Yeah, he folded down. Yeah, he folded definitely.
Yeah, he had to. He didn't have a choice. She dated him. She knows stuff about him nobody knows. So to him, that wasn't worth it for her to put his business out.
So she's his actual real Tommy. That's Kanan's. That's his real Tommy from Power.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Absolutely.
But it also calls to boycott Power as well by a small group of people. So maybe
you know what that was? It's a lot of Democrats that run Hollywood. So if you support in any type of way Trump or the Republican Party, like they could kind of like slow down your money.
Absolutely.
And I think he didn't. So he didn't fold because of her. He probably had pressure from upstairs in the top executive floor of the corporations that own his stuff. So that's what that was. And that's why I don't respect the Democratic Party, because being in certain organizations, I remember 2 years ago, we had a meeting, because I'm pretty sure y'all probably familiar with the Institute of the Black World, Dr. Ron Daniels. Very lovely man, very smart. I respect him a lot. But when you're in the room, when you're having a meetings and they say ADOS, that organization or that movement is a problem because your number one agenda is to get Trump out of office, I had a problem with that, because you're worried about getting Trump out of office and you're not worried about public policies that Black people need. Like, you have to choose, you want to focus on getting Trump out of office, or you want to focus on Black people. Getting him out of office doesn't help Black people. Like, it has nothing to do with who's in the office. But I will be voting for Trump.
Oh, right. Right on, sir.
Let me say something to her about that. Dana, you are probably you're probably about 6% of, or 7%, if I'm correct, of Black women on record that they would say they would vote for Trump. So that is actually a little different. Well, it's not different. I mean, believe it or not, it's more silent Trump voters than you know. So that's actually one thing. But I will say I do not have a problem with his policy, because, like I said, hey, would you rather like the little sly fox, the one of my brother pit bull tried to chase a fox and can't catch, or would you rather want the wolf where you can see? Give me the wolf. I don't want the fox, because he's kind of sneaky. And as a matter of fact, Biden isn't even really that sneaky, actually. He's actually on record saying a lot of things. He's really the same person. Like when he told you ain't Black, a lot of people thought that was a gab. That's not a gab. That was actually what he meant to tell you. You ain't Black. So it's no different.
That's like white people, again, us allowing white people to talk for us, so-called fight for us, like putting us in our place, because you are too comfortable saying things. You know who I like and I respect? Jason Whitlock. And he did a video recently, because he's on YouTube now, Outkick, and he was talking about Chelsea Handler, because he's brilliant too as a journalist, and the way he broke it down, he was like, I've dated white liberal women, and he was talking about this one woman he dated, and he had to check her because she felt comfortable using an N-word talking to him, and he was like, no, he was like, I checked her ass, and he said something, because I love the way like people who are like writers, they just use these creative writing things or whatever. But he was basically saying how we need to stop letting white people speak for us or give us permission to do what we need to do. So yeah, I definitely check out that video. But and that's exactly how I see the Democratic Party. Republicans, like it's different. They're more. I would say this, if I want to say what's the difference between the two. Like Republicans is more like do for self, whereas Democrats, they want to give you welfare so you could stay under their thumb.
They want to give you a handout.
Yeah.
Democrats want to give you a handout. Republicans feel like they want to give you a hand up.
Right. They want to give you a handout so they could continue to control you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Jay Harris, because if somebody asked in the chat, they asked you this question. I asked Jay Harris and the rest of the panel what they think about Willie D of the Ghetto Boys. To me, he said some things, but other things is suspect. Another entertainer in my view. I mean, me personally, I might listen to Willie D once in a while, but sometimes he just be too far off the cliff sometimes.
Yeah, he's far. He's left. He's actually kind of far left, secretly. He's for the left. I can tell that he's against what Ice Cube did. He kind of plays like he's not, but he is. He's not. He's against Lil Wayne. He's against Trump. I mean, he's a left, and he might even be getting paid because he jumped a lot of subscribers pretty fast.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of people true intentions during this election. Like they're going to show you like what side they're on at the end of the day. So it's like, and then when the election is over, then they kind of could go back to being neutral or whatever. Yeah, and it's like no, I don't. Roland Martin, he was calling Lil Wayne stupid. How do you know I don't think he's stupid. That's his choice if he wants to vote for Trump. But I don't care if you're a celebrity voting for Trump or Biden, they still don't speak for Black people. So,
right.
But who are you to say somebody is stupid because he agrees with the platinum plan? I don't think Lil Wayne is an idiot, but that just shows like it's election season. And then we're going to go through this again in 2 more years, the midterms.
Yep.
Well, go ahead, brother Ron.
I mean, Lil Wayne is very brilliant. He's far from being an idiot. He's one of the greatest rappers of all time. He understands wordplay and understand how to utilize the media for leverage. Lil Wayne said a lot of very insightful things during this period known as 2020. To some people, it's a horror movie. To me, it's a dark comedy, very, very dark comedy. But he said something about be specific in your wants, and be specific in who you targeting, and that's really wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Understand to be precise in what you want, because a lot of us don't know what the hell we want. And it's like white folks taking over Black Lives Matter like they took over rock and roll. We lost Little Richard this year. You know what I'm saying? They taking over Black Lives Matter like they took over rock and roll and everything else.
Like they took over the civil rights movement.
Yeah, the civil rights movement, right. Well, we were strongest. Like you think about even, you look at the feminists. One of the earliest feminists in this country was Frederick Douglass, a Black man who came through slavery. He was one of the earliest supporters of women's suffrage. And the end of his life, they disrespected him because his second wife was a white woman that was almost the same age as his daughter. And they had a women's rights or suffrage convention down in Atlanta. And he was close to Susan B. Anthony, but they disinvited Frederick Douglass because he was married to a white woman. They said it might offend the sensibilities of the Southern white women. And Ida B. Wells got in her ass, about doing that to Frederick Douglass. Even I think of now about this election, I'm thinking about the ancestors. They here and they want justice for us. I'm thinking about the U.S. color troops, the Black men who got off their plantation and fought for liberation and self-determination. Even John Brown, who had his raid on October 16th, 1859. That's a very important date in Black history. October 16th is like not only the Million Man March from 25 years ago, but John Brown raid on Harper's Ferry. And also you had Theodore Roosevelt, a Republican, invite Booker T. Washington, a Black man from Alabama from Virginia, West Virginia, to the White House for dinner. That was the real guest who coming to dinner. Now he was that's his cousin, Franklin Roosevelt.
Oh, Franklin. Okay.
And Franklin Roosevelt married his niece. Like Judge Joe got that wrong. He married Theodore Roosevelt's niece. It's all in the family.
Yeah.
See, Franklin was a Democrat, but he admired his cousin Theodore, who was a Republican.
Right.
But Theodore Roosevelt invited Booker T. Washington not to serve him as a butler, not to cook his food, but as an equal at his table. And it drove white folks mad.
Was the Black Brain the Black Brain Trust, was that under Franklin or was that under Theodore's?
Well, Franklin Roosevelt had the Black Cabinet. He had like some of the leading Black.
Right, and they called that the Black Brain Trust.
Yeah, they had the Black Cabinet. They called the Black Cabinet his Black Cabinet. And whoever's the president, we need a Black Cabinet, and we need grassroots oriented. Forget the Boule people. They the traitors. Forget the Boule. Forget the Black caucus. Bring in the grassroots people. Bring in people like us. Bring in Ice Cube. Bring in Dr. Clyde Anderson. Bring in the folks that have laid the blueprint that's actually doing work in the community that are actually Black first. Forget about the academics and the Boule and the celebrities, the weaponized celebrities. Bring in the people that's doing the work and is willing to put their lives on the line. But get back to U.S. color troops. These Black men fought to liberate the Black family. And these white women had the nerve to say, can they defer their right to get the franchise? Like, these people put their lives on the line. I know ancestors of mine that fought in the Civil War, like the Moon Brothers from Tunica County, Mississippi. These black men fought to be free, and you had the white women saying, look, can they put their stuff on the side and let the white woman have the vote first? I dare you. These are the Chelsea Handlers of their time. I dare you do that to us. And I dare the black woman to disrespect the black man who has sacrificed for this country. I just talked about Medgar Evers and Malcolm, and they got killed before their families. These black men. And you got the Montgomery bus boycott that happened, 65 years ago this December. You had black women being raped by white men in power, white patriarchy people, raping black. I'm talking about like police officers down in Montgomery and bus drivers. But you had black men who were war veterans from World War II and Korea protecting black women from being assaulted, doing those 381 straight days. Don't tell me about black men ain't protecting black women when we had a lot of black men being lynched to protect the sisters.
So I have a question. This could be for the panel too, right? But especially for you, Ron. What is the beef with the patriarchy that women want to dismantle? Now I get it, because as a woman, before I was even born, right? In the 1950s, when you look at the workforce, it was majority men, right? And women were at home being housewives and mothers and stuff like that. But women wanted to have careers, and, it was unheard of a woman to go to law school, whatever. But then as the decades, progressed throughout the years, more women wanted to run for office. They, wanted to have careers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there were a lot of sexism, especially in the workplace, women being harassed. So, and then you place that under that patriarchy of dictatorship, right? So women weren't always treated well. White women are not treated well by white men, but that has nothing to do with me. I'm not in that, because it's a power play between white men and white women. I started to read that book. They Were Her Property. But just in general, when we look at women throughout the world, we are taken advantage of when you look at other countries and how women are treated. But just here in America with the black women, I never felt like, there was sexism, right? There's sexism. Men can be in general sexist because of patriarchy and you're a man. But it was a different type of communication when it comes to black men and black women, because whether we were men and women, we were black, so we were catching hell. Right. So when we talk about voting, men got the right to vote first before women, whether you were white or black. And then I was in 1919 when women got the right to vote, but black people still couldn't vote in the South. But if you lived in the North or some northern states, you were able to vote. So my question is, do women have some type of validity when they talk about the negative patriarchal behavior? Because there were a lot of women that were harassed in the workforce, black or white. So then you have the Me Too movement, but then it does. So what makes it bad, I would say this with women, is we will start something to fight for our rights and protection, but it's like we do take it too far, because then you're talking about politics, you're talking about money, you're talking about position of power, and that goes to women's heads. And then there's always that white woman fighting for that position of power, and her mission is to oust that white man. And they always use black women as pawns to help them gain that power. So it's like you have a point. Women have a point of wanting to be treated better in society, but it seemed like at what cost? You get what I'm saying? It's like I have a point when I'm talking about being sexually harassed at work, or my husband is beating me up at home and I need protection from the law to help me get away from him, and and him supporting me financially or whatever, all those things. But when you start organizing, which is when you start an organization, it seems like that your initial claim is being watered down by people who are just seeking to control something at my expense. So there is an issue with patriarchy and how women are treated. But it's like a different story when we're talking about black women and black men. And I think that gets lost because Black women feel like, okay, I have to choose to be part of the women's rights movement, but we need to understand that we are being used, and we've always been used because we were never allowed feminine mystique. And I'm going back to the feminist movement of, let's say, the 60s, even before that. So yeah, I don't think we really dissected that thing right there. It's like, I am a woman and I do have these issues as a woman, being a woman in this world. But my story and my path is different because I'm Black. And I'm not going to abandon a Black man, but I do need that Black man to understand, stop following white men ideology, because they treat their women like shit. And you can't treat me like that, because we have to fight this thing together. And I think that does, and I see it on YouTube that Black men don't even have respect for Black women, mainly because they don't have respect for themselves. And I don't know how their relationship were with their mother, but that is lost. That is, so it's like, we always been fighting together, but now you're sitting up here, you're thinking like a white man. And we can't dismiss that. But then you have a Jamil Hill who, I see what she's trying to say, but at the same time, you're saying that, well, being that you're not falling in line, I'm going to dismiss you, Black man. You can't do that. You see what I'm saying? So it's very a complex situation.
Yes, it's very complex.
Let me add.
I mean, I want to stay on this point. You want?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
I got some stuff to say because you got a lot on my mind. But
Yeah.
I
right,
want
because when you
everybody
talk
else
about, I mean, even in the
speak.
Black home growing up, right? When you talk about patriarchy,
Right.
it's the Black women was always the core of the house, and I'm talking about like
Big
my
mama, big
grandparents,
mama,
right?
yeah, big mama.
Yeah, and like
The matriarchy.
Hey,
yeah,
Dana,
and
can you ask a
she
question right quick? I'm sorry. I know you don't want to get you off topic. A guy in the chat. You can answer it. He's saying it's confusing what she's talking about. Women restricted, talking about Black women. Seems like she's talking about white folks. I didn't get that idea, but
If I could say something,
because it's
it sounds like
intertwined,
it sounds like you're saying
they're
it's
trying to intertwine us with white women, and we
Right.
can't be.
Yeah.
okay.
And that's what we do have patriarchy issues.
But we don't have a patriarchy in the Black community. We never had one in this system. You can't name one period where Black man was in charge of his household or his women. You got to go back to slavery, where the white man would jump over the fence at night to screw your woman in your face and throw it in your face.
Slavery, and let's say after slavery, right?
We never. It's a couple of things, like with the Black man getting the right to vote. You know who supported him? Was the Black woman. He said, our brothers fought and died for this. They're going to get their right to vote. The Black women have been treated like second-class and third-class citizens in the women's rights movement from the get-go. Right. Y'all need to look at the PBS documentary, the two-part PBS documentary called The Vote, about the women's suffrage movement, because this year is the centennial of them getting their vote, right? But the Black women were so disrespected in that movement by the white women. Yes. And it was the white women that advocated for the lynching of Black men after the Civil War. And that's why Ida B. Wells got ran out of Memphis in the South, because she found out that she thought that these Black men who were being lynched were criminals and crooks, until her best friend, Thomas Moss, and his two business associates got lynched in Memphis back in March of 1892.
Right, and a lot of those white women in that movement were Democrats.
Right, and also a lot of white women didn't want the right to vote, because they said, my man, see, the white woman is the white man's bottom bitch. Right? She's not disrespected. She got more influence in terms of power than we understand. She's the power behind the throne. See, white men had justified killing Black men because, oh, you disrespect the white woman, but the white man hates his mama too. And that's the thing. But the white women, as feminists, their job is not to destroy or degrade their man. They want their man respect at the table. They want some tangibles at the table. Can I sit at the table with you, my white man? Yeah. Even 4 years ago, Black women put sex before race. White women stayed on code and fooled the Black woman. See, when you don't respect your man, when the Democratic Party don't respect the Black man, we're the only group of people in the country where our women don't respect us on the whole. Like everybody else group, they got to go through their man for tangibles and other things. Right.
But now,
Black men are not respected. It's by design.
So let me push back on that, because I would say you're right on your point as far as the 21st century, because after slavery, because it was black women respected men during slavery, but that's a whole different thing to dissect, right?
Okay.
After slavery, I would say up into the 70s, black men have always been respected by black women. There's always been a strong family unit. So I was born in 76.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is me growing up, right? Looking at how my grandparents function and and then the things I found out later about their relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at the relationship dynamics now with black men and black women, it's completely dysfunctional. So yeah, there are black women who have a disdain for black men, and there are black men who are disrespectful to black women.
Yeah.
And how can so and then on top of that, I'm gonna say this: it's not just black men, it's black people, men and women. They don't respect themselves. So there was a serious breakdown between a black man and a black woman that happened, I would say, after the civil rights movement. Because from what I've read in history, from what I've seen in my family from those older generations, I always saw respect. That's why I was shocked to know that my grandfather cheated on my grandmother. Like when you hear those stories, but they were never going to get a divorce. What they did, they sent the kids out the house while she whooped his ass in the house. And then the kids come home and they have dinner together, right? Like your business stay in house. And it was a loving environment, but the family dynamic broke down. And that was after, let's say, the Civil Rights Act. Let's start
That was
there.
by design too. Cause look at the
Right.
movie
It was
Claude.
by design,
Yeah,
but it
it's
seemed
by
like
Democrats, the
But it seemed
Moynihan
like we
report,
black
all that
women are
stuff,
being
the
blamed
Kerner
for
report.
all of that. But it was
Mm-hmm.
by design. It was
Yeah,
public policies that
exactly.
destroyed the black family. So you can't, and I'm saying you personally, but black men can't sit up here and say it's the black woman's fault. And that's what I'm hearing a lot.
What now? What? Like you look at the movie Claudine. I understand what you're saying. The movie Claudine with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones. It shows you what they did. I used to think that movie was a comedy at first. Then I got older. That's a tragedy. Cause why is it James Earl Jones, a strong black man, got to hide in the closet when the white lady social worker come around? You can't have a strong black man in the household to set as an example for the children, to be
Well,
there for the
okay,
woman.
let's dissect that right there
Yeah, the
because
movie Claudine. It shows you
right,
what they
and I
did.
love that movie and I love Diane Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
But now, because if the reason why she had to hide him because you can't get your state benefits if you have a
Right.
man in the house, right?
Yeah,
But she
exactly.
just met him. Now, I always say this, where's dad? Where's dad? Because she was married twice because she had
Rolling
5
Stone,
kids.
right? Yeah.
She was married twice. So, but you didn't have to leave the state or leave the city. You could still take care of your kid. Now, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
left and you left your responsibilities. So she has to turn to the state. She meets a man. He just met her. She don't know if this man is I don't know if he's gonna marry me and help me with my kids. So yeah, you gotta hide in the closet because my original old man, he left and I'm here with all my kids by myself. And the only person that's supporting me is the state. We don't know why she got a divorce and why the men left.
Well, black men always had to hide. Or think about even after the doing Reconstruction or even post Reconstruction, you had black families that had trap doors in their floors for black men to hide from the Night Riders from the Klan to kill them. That's all by design because you got to think about as well. You go back to the 40s, right? When black women were working in the plants up in Detroit, right? This during World War II. They were so disrespected back because ain't no such thing as a black patriarchy. The patriarchy is a white man's world. This is a white man's system. He's the patriarch. He's the father figure, right? But you go back to the 40s when the auto plants converted over to making stuff for the war effort. They were so disrespected black women. We had black women eating lunch in the restrooms, right?
Right.
They couldn't even go to the cafeteria with the white ladies. But then when they try to get rid of the black woman and not pay her the same as the white woman, it was the brothers that said, if you don't respect our sisters, we won't work either. We'll strike with the sisters. So they had to rehire the black women and pay them better wages and let them eat in the cafeteria for crying out loud and not wear they shit. So these are stories that we need to know. It's a book that a white lady wrote from Michigan about black women and resistance and rape. Let me see if I can find it. I want to make sure at the dark end of the street, black women, rape and resistance. It was written by a white woman, Danielle McGuire, professor, I think at Wayne State up in Detroit. But y'all should pick that book up on Amazon because it show you situation where black women did fight back and then black men and women were on the same page. Our greatest victories during the civil rights movement came when the black man, woman, and child worked together. We are the Holy Trinity. You know, the Montgomery bus boycott was probably the most successful thing we had. You had black women and black men on code. Even you go to Birmingham, Project C in 1963, you had black children going to jail. You had black men and women going to jail. You had the black family working in unison.
Black woman was always there next to that black man.
Right. Even Fannie Lou Hamer. You know, Fannie Lou Hamer. I love Fannie Lou Hamer. Yes. And you know, she did not know she could vote until she was 44 years old. She lived her whole life on the plantation. She was the last of her parents' children. She was the 20th child. She was number 20 out of her parents' kids. The last one. It took them all them trials to get one Fannie Lou Hamer. But you know what the state did to Fannie Lou Hamer? She wanted biological children. They sterilized her in Mississippi. You had 21 states that were okay with sterilizing women, undesirables, black women, poor women. You had 21 states that had that as an okay. So they told her after she got her checkup that we sterilized you. That's the state not respecting black women's body. Even look at the father of gynecology, J. Marion Sanders from South Carolina. He's a scientific medical genius. And what he did was he destroyed black women wombs, and he did stuff that made Joseph Nicola blood, right? And he's the father of gynecology.
But this is what I'm saying, because everything you're saying, you're absolutely right, and you're talking about at a certain time. You're talking about a certain time period, and I'm saying what happened to why are we where we're at today? And the problem that I have with that, so this is why I bring in this patriarchy thing with men. First of all, I don't care what race, what culture, I don't care where you're from. If you are born with a penis, you do have male privilege, just like women do have some type of women privilege. But this is a man's world. But bring it to America with black people, the black man and the black woman has always fought and worked together because we had no choice. It's not like that today. After the civil rights, let's just start from the 70s. What happened to where families were destroyed? Drugs ran rapid in our community. So not only did that destroy families, it destroyed people. It locked up black men. Black women were left out here to fend for themselves. And then now today, 2020, if you look at the average black man, does he respect himself? Does the average black woman respect herself? But it seems like when we're talking about this divide, this gender divide, they're blaming black women. And it's like, stop blaming black women, because you really have to start looking in the mirror, we all do, and start working with ourselves first. And that's what I'm talking about. So what you're saying is true. So how can we get back prior to 1966?
That's a good question. And these are females.
But it's a good question, but it's just a discussion that needs to be had. And the problem that I have is people are not owning up to their shortcomings. Men or women.
But these are not men or women. These are males and females. We can't confuse men and women with males and females.
Why?
No, when you're a man and woman, you take responsibility and accountability for your actions. You stand
we have
accountable.
More males.
We got a lot of males. We don't got a lot of men. That's the problem. Exactly. And this system is trying to produce more males, more beta males.
We need to have that discussion, right?
Well, yeah.
And one of the problems is men will never admit that.
Well, I'm admitting it right now on
I'm not talking about Hey, look, I be in these YouTube streets, this black YouTube, it's dysfunction. And it's like, okay, I mean, YouTube is really for people just to, I guess, vent, I don't know. But even going out in the world and in life.
Man, if he wants to be patriotic, he has the right to do whatever he wants to do. And it just seems like we're more of a commodity where you can't do that because of this. And we can just do really whatever we want to do, to be honest. And that's just how I feel. And I believe there's nothing wrong with the black woman. I just think the black woman should just take a stance, look at everything from its proper perspective. Maybe there's got to be some adjustments made, especially when the black woman has the lowest marriage rate. They have the highest single family rate, single mother rate, and which breeds children that get into more trouble statistically than children that come from a family. So the black man is really the backbone of it all. And I just think that somewhere down the line, there's like a competition, but the black man can't be competed with because everybody wants him. Everybody wants to be like him. And it just is what it is.
So it's a couple of things you said there, because you said black women have a low marriage rate. Well, so do black men, if we're talking about Black people, right? The Black family. If we're not getting married, you're not getting married. Because over 80, listen, 1 second, over 80, at least 80% of Black people marry another Black person. Now, what I'm talking about, because I do clap back at people that be commenting in the chat. You have this person in chat saying, Dana, please let the man finish his statement. Well, first of all, he did finish his statement. You have a problem with me speaking my mind. And you have a problem with a woman and a man having a dialogue back and forth.
Right.
I was not rude. He doesn't feel like I was interrupting him. So why you, Philip, feel the need for me to be quiet so he could finish his statement when we're having a discussion? That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
You have men have a problem, and I don't care what race they are. This is in general. If a woman is vocal, because women should be quiet and submissive and speak pleasant, not with authority or not assertive or not confident.
Well, that's how women were. That's how women were supposed to be.
No,
Because
that's not how we were.
back in the day,
Women are whatever they were born.
Without the men, the women would get pillaged, they would get raped, they would get conquered. So the men was always.
But that has nothing to do with me being quiet. You're right. The men, you are physically stronger than me. I get all that. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But that doesn't mean for me to be quiet, that I should be timid, that I don't have the right to speak my mind. I'm not disrespecting you, that man. But if I have an opinion and if I want my voice to be heard, I have every right for my voice to be heard. Absolutely. But when you just said also, Black women don't get married at a higher rate. We get married at a very low rate than anybody else. But so do Black men. Like, why are you separating yourself from me when it's me and you that are not marrying?
Well, that's by design, though. You got to think about what we've been through the trauma of slavery, post-traumatic slave disorder, right? We just lost Dr. Patricia Newton out of Baltimore. She was a protege of Dr. Frances Cress Wilson. These are very vocal, strong, brilliant Black women. But you talk about buck breaking. You think about the movie Farewell, Uncle Tom. Y'all should check it out. The director's cut. It's based on what we went through slavery, the horror stories, the real American horror story, what happened to Black people. But you had sex farms in places like Maryland, Virginia, where a Black man, all his responsibility was to screw women, or a Black male screw females. It could be your mama, it could be your sister, it could be your aunt. The high levels of incest in the Black community is systemic. It's by design. We all kissing cousins. So when you talk about a Black man not staying around with the family, he's been programmed to be a Rolling Stone. He's been programmed to show his masculinity by how many women he can knock up. That's programming. It's like, a racehorse, a thoroughbred. You a buck. You know what I'm saying? You a stallion, not Meg the stallion. She's supposed to be a mare.
Yeah.
A stallion supposed to screw the mare and be about his business, But that's all by design.
It's by design.
Right.
And would you agree that a lot of things are by design that we're not even conscious of?
Yep. Program.
Now let me say one other thing, and because I gotta bring a topic up right quick I wanted to get to. So yesterday, Barack Obama and Joe Biden were in Michigan at Flint, right? I got to bring this up. And I'm sitting there saying, how did we let Obama come back to the scene of the crime in Flint, Michigan, when he chugged the water in those people's face and disrespected them people thoroughly, and we let him come back to the scene of the crime? How did we let him even get away with this? And then you bring Joe Biden with you, and they had the governor of Michigan at the time, Republican governor named Rick Snyder. And Rick Snyder was, they had a lot of things going on. They were bringing 5,000 immigrants a year. And the goal was to bring 50,000 immigrants into Detroit. They were actually trying to gentrify Detroit and bankrupt the city. But they also started working on Flint. So as you saw, I sent you something this morning. And the woman, she said that after I did it, that's not my president anymore. But I'm saying, how do we let him come back to Flint after we know what went on in Flint? And I said, do we have a short memory, or are we just plain stupid? I mean, it's got to be both to me.
And Flint, where he took, somebody gave him a glass of water and he drank it, was like, oh, this ain't bad.
Yeah. I was like,
but you know what everybody's doing? Everybody is reposting and retweeting when he took a basketball shot and made it, and then he walked off saying, that's how you do it. Everybody is making that trend, that video trend.
Yeah, but no.
You want to vote for Biden because he made the basketball shot. Obama made the basketball shot.
Well, first of all, he was on the shop with LeBron the other day too. But like I said,
my point is, people are focused on Black people, are focused on the wrong shit. Because you are focused on this man like he's down, he's cool, he in the gym, he made it just a quick alley hoop shot from a distance. You're retweeting that, but you're not tweeting and you're not posting on Instagram or Facebook the policies that he did not help Black people. He did not pass to help Black people. He didn't do anything for Flint. You're not focused on what's important. You're focused on him making that basketball shot.
Well, that's why he was on the shop the other day with LeBron James. But and I'm sitting there saying, like, even LeBron James says, I'm gonna come out and campaign for Biden. I'm like, first of all, I don't know, people don't know this. The NBA ratings went down 70% since they came back embracing Black Lives Matter. I mean, and now that could be because there's no fans, but me look at it, I think people are just getting tired of the bullshit. I mean, and then he said Obama was the one who told us to use your power. But I wouldn't have just said, I'm going to use my power to vote. No, if you was on protest and stand down. And that's why I hate these co-opted movements. Like, oh, Obama told me to play. As far as I told you, Brother Ron, on your show last week, Obama is a white supremacist 100%. Matter of fact, he's a better white supremacist than George Bush, and he's better than any other white politician because he was able to cloak himself and able to get away with so much more in far destroying almost a whole continent. When Obama left office, you had 53 African bases in the country of Africa. Only one country in Africa didn't have an African military base on it.
What country was that, brother BJ?
I gotta go back and look at it, but I mean,
was it Ethiopia by any chance?
Probably was.
You know, they say Ethiopia where they have the Ark of the Covenant located. Yeah. Ethiopia is the real show. I mean, Ethiopia never been conquered by the colonizers. Yeah. They tried back in the 30s with Italy, with Mussolini, but Haile Selassie supposed to be the second coming of Jesus. But the thing, I just want to read this thing about, the Black family was stronger in the 60s when we was together. Like they said, I'm reading the thing, in 1960, roughly 74% of whites were married in America, and the rate dropped to 56% in 2008. But in 1960, 61% of Blacks were married. But by 2008, it was only 32%. And Blacks also get a divorce more often and remarry less frequently than whites. That's by design.
Yeah.
When we are at odds, we can't
mass incarceration.
Forward.
Yeah.
Rockefeller law, mass incarceration, all that stuff. And we pay for it. Like the CIA, killed the messenger. Gary Well exposed Iran-Contra. They put the crack and guns in our community. You got even Bill Clinton. When he was governor of Arkansas in the 80s, you had Mena, Arkansas, where they were bringing in drugs from South America to distribute across the country. And you want to say that Rick Ross, a functional illiterate, was the kingpin behind that?
Well, this is what I'm going to say. And I will say this. And I'll say it's the con game over and over again. To me, Barack Obama and Joe Biden should not even been allowed to come in Flint without daggone Black people blocking the gate, say, no, we don't want you in here.
It should have been the war zone, right? It should have been declared a war zone. It should be like Afghanistan. If the president tried to come to Afghanistan, that's how they should have treated them.
I will say this, though, in all honesty, a lot of Black people have caught on to the Obama con game now. And they know that this thing was a whole sham. I mean, look, Barack Obama's mentor was one of his mentors was Henry Kissinger, for God's sake.
Why he's still alive? He's obese. He's almost 100 years old. How do you be obese and be almost 100 and still be functional?
Why didn't he so familiar? Kissinger?
Yeah. Kissinger. You sound like he's from Prague or something. He's been here all his, he's been here forever.
But my thing is, and I always say this, like, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, how people were talking about the Supreme Court justice, and they said, well, Donald Trump, he got a white woman to go on the Supreme Court. I'm like, Obama got 2 Jewish white Latino women to go on the Supreme Court.
Goldman Sachs Inc. That's Obama's support. That's the sponsor, Goldman Sachs. And they all Goldman Sachs connected. All these Secretary of Treasury since Clinton with Larry Summers, they all Goldman Sachs for the most part. Timothy Guyton, all of them.
So I'm gonna bring
because that came out a couple of years ago. I think Obama, He has more money than all of them. I think, isn't he the richest president ever so
Well, they
far?
on Judge. I think he be going on the dark web because they got number one Donald Trump and number two George Washington.
Me
With the
too,
list that I
about
be
to
saying,
say.
but Donald Trump may not be a billionaire. You can't believe these lists, especially Forbes don't know what the hell they talk about. They just be
Yeah.
saying stuff.
Well, I would say this. So if you look on your phone, I just sent you a link of Kamala Harris, the untouchable thing. Now let's go to, so is this the con game all over again with Kamala? Probably trying to run the same con. Matter of fact, they running the con game with somebody who's from the country of India, nationwide, and also a Jamaican. So they're trying to run the same con game. Oh, this is a black woman. Yeah. No, this ain't my. No, get that Indian trash away from me. I don't even bring her my way. It is what it is, because, and I don't know if you saw it this morning. I sent you a thing, and that you saw me take. I sent you a picture of me and a guy, right?
Right.
He's a DJ down here. He's a DJ Line B. He's he used to work with A.L.L and the Super Friends. I mean, he's great. I mean, I love him. He's my brother. But they got this thing going on what is it? Vote. And I think they're supposed to have a virtual DJ session to vote. And I was saying, look, I'm tired of being the fool, man, with, let's say, like dancing at the polls. We dance to go to church. We dance to go to the polls. They got the sororities saying stroll to the polls. This is not entertainment issue. When you make entertainment so popular, you desensitize everything, and I'm getting sick and tired of seeing get your booty to the poll, vote or die, P. Diddy, LeBron. No, you don't have to vote or die. You can sit your black ass at home. You want. So I just look at it. These slogans. Now I know we got brother Gavin Rashad in the chat. So
bring him, come on down, brother. Get in, counselor. Get in.
But
I think
but the voting thing is actually getting played out the way they get it. And that's why the other day I was having a conversation with a sister, and she had a conversation. She was like, I am so disappointed that Donald Trump is probably going to win this election because the Latino community has turned their back on us. I said, no. They never did that. She was like, I said, never turn your back on you. They don't vote
been with us. What are you talking?
There's that black and brown. I said, no, black and brown, that's just something to fool you. Of course, LeBron James got a commercial out there that's saying real Russian bots. You could be talking to a bot. Don't listen to the disinformation.
It could be a CNN bot to me. He'll A.L.L then. He'll CNN bot.
MSNBC. And he actually, and Jason Johnson right over to MSNBC and said that it's a lot of disinformation being targeted at black voters, and Ice Cube, LeBron James, the antidote to Ice Cube. So they playing this out. They actually trying to have a war with somebody on the black media space, but they're trying to pit the news media against us. But if you look at TV ratings, right? I don't know if anybody got Comcast or something. I got 5 sticks or whatever. I got 5 sticks left in the fucking house, right? The TV ratings is down. That's why your Comcast bill might be $200 or $300 because ain't nobody watching that shit.
Everybody's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's where the real news that actually still for the most part.
I think I turned the news on for the first time all week. If I do turn the TV on, CNBC or sports. Like I do not watch or C-SPAN. I love C-SPAN.
Yeah, I like C-SPAN. Great.
All that other, it's like if you CNN, they just want you to live in fear. They think that everyone's going to die from coronavirus. But let me just say something real quick about Kamala Harris, because when she was running for president, I was done with her when she did the interview with the griot.
Okay.
And she was like, and she did it with the black girl. She was like, she was like, I'm not just going to do public policy just for black people. I'm going to do public policy for all Americans. Because he asked her a question, are you going to have policies specific for black? She was like, no, I'm going to have policies for all Americans, not just for black. And I was done with her then. It's like, oh, okay. Because everybody else, LGBTQ, they want their own separate public policies. Latinos, they want their own separate policies. Illegal immigrants want their own separate policies. DACA. And she was somebody posted on Twitter, I think it was sometime a couple days ago, she was saying how we should vote because our ancestors could not. And that's reason one. And reason two, because we want to make DACA children like permanent residents or whatever. And that scares me. No, if you're an illegal immigrant, an illegal person here in America, you should not be here. You should not be able to allow to just automatically get citizenship. Yeah, I do have a problem with children being separated from their parents at the border, where you could have kept them in the cage with their children. You ain't had to separate them, but put them, detain them, and send them back. But that DACA thing, that when they went to the Supreme Court last year, the same week Byron Allen was at the Supreme Court, those same DACA Latinos were not supporting Byron Allen, but then you had all the support from all these other organizations supporting the DACA people that were there for whatever Supreme Court rights they was fighting for, and they actually won something. But my point is, if you are not willing to give my people separate public policies for our needs, like everybody else asked for, I will never vote for you. That's why I will say I am voting for Donald Trump, because yes, he's crazy or whatever, and he's entertaining. But if you talk to him and say, we need this because of this and because of this, he will at least do an executive order if Congress don't pass it. The problem that I have with the Black people that surround him, they act like racism don't exist. Those are some straight coons with that Reverend
Boule. They the Boule.
Boule coons,
the Jack and Jill gatekeepers, yeah.
And but the thing with Donald Trump, he don't just want to talk to Boule Black. He'll talk to a regular person that comes up saying this is what we need or whatever. He will listen to you. He wrote an executive order for economic empowerment for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in 2019 in May. You don't see them saying anti-Trump or pro, and they probably are voting for Biden, but he is the president, and they needed something specifically for their group, which includes education, which includes business, which includes, real estate, everything. So if they got an economic empowerment executive order, why don't we have one? Did anybody ask for it? See, we don't ask, we don't demand anything. But if you literally say that you're not going to do something specifically for Black people, I would never vote for you.
You're right about that. Well, I will say this. Well, I think that more so, like with Trump, it's like you're bad by the language, right? But to me, I just look at him as like somebody I'm talking in the streets. So, I mean, I don't really care about the language. As a matter of fact, everybody got all worked up about Jared Kushner this week. I didn't even care about the Jared Kushner comment, but so much. So, I mean, he's right that you gotta have the will to succeed. I look at it more so like with Kushner, like I don't need a white guy to tell me that. But hey, I mean, the comment was not, out of bounds. I mean, I guess you can say you lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Is that better topic of what Kushner said? Yeah. So I don't. Like I said, and even this is my thing. Like Stevie Wonder came out and just said yesterday in Flint that was it Detroit that Biden be the one to give us reparations. Well, how confusing is that, Stevie Wonder, when Biden was the one who said I wouldn't give you reparations unless Native Americans are included? Not talking about the Native Americans enslaved Black folks. Not talking about that Native Americans already got policies under the Obama administration. So do they need any more? I mean, down here, they're trying to make casinos down here in Virginia. I mean, matter of fact, they're probably already doing it, as a matter of fact. But what I'm saying, they have economic policy set in place. We don't want to go because, I don't like him. He's a racist.
Why are we sharing what we need with people? Because Native Americans, like I have Native Americans heavy on my mother's side, probably on my father's side too. And my daughter and this is in North Carolina, and my daughter who was living in North Carolina started doing some research. And one of the tribes that we will have come from, she said, she spoke to the lead. She was like, yeah, you probably can't be a part of the tribe because you're not 100% blooded. See, the Native Americans who got reparations, they're race specific who will get it, like what tribe you're from, Cherokee or whatever, and you got to be 100% blooded. So when Biden makes that comment about well, if I'm gonna give it to them, I have to give it to the natives. They already have it, and why do we always have to share when nobody else don't share with us? They don't share anything that they need, that they claim that they're owed. So why are we having to share everything?
Well, a lot of those Indians are not real Indians. They $5 Indians. Like when we get our reparations as FBA and ADOS, they're gonna help some 2-piece and a biscuit black folks or Negroes. And they're not real Negroes. See, this race thing is complex because even talk about Cherokee, you had 5 civilized tribes that fought with the Confederacy. During the Civil War, they owned slaves. You had a ruling just several years ago in Oklahoma where the freemen, the descendants of the freemen, had to be respected by the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma and get their reparations or whatever benefits from that. So we are the Aboriginal and original people of this country, United States. We already have a claim, and not only that, as a republic, before there was a republic, we fought in every war for those claims. So we got blood, sweat, and tear equity. But what we don't got is black folks with backbone. We got a lot of black folks with backbones like mozzarella sticks. This ain't about the business because, you know, before Johnny Cochran died, he was working on reparations. He was working on the Black Wall Street thing in Oklahoma, and he died all sort of a brain tumor, supposedly.
And what happened with that this year with Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. Oklahoma. But you had many Black Wall Street.
No,
not just one.
Right, but no, the natives. They were granted more territory, which covers the city of Tulsa. That's native land now.
Okay.
So they're not under state regulations. So meaning if you get arrested or something, they have their own govern of law enforcement, not through the state. Only the federal government can come in or something. So if we need, so let's say Black Wall Street who are owed reparations. Can we even fight for it now? Even because now that land was given to and expanded to natives, American Indians.
So we are the real Native Americans. We got to stake our claim and do the research and show the paper trail. If you look at even in the Flint thing, I went to Flint 5 years ago, and I made sure I ain't drink no damn water. I ain't go to no fast food restaurant up there in Flint. I had to interview the brother who's the Flint councilman at the time, Wantas Davis. And I asked him, man, how safe is the water? He said, man, we don't even supposed to be washing our car with this water. But I like my car clean. And that was 5 years ago. So it's just weird. And by the way, he went to jail. He went to prison for killing the man who raped his mama. He went to prison for killing the man who raped his mama. He spent almost 20 years in prison and came back home and want to do right by the community. But I'm saying, not only that, you got Alabama. 3 years ago with Doug Jones, right? Doug Jones ran for that Senate seat. He was against Trump guy. He won in the upset. And people talking about, black women, they came out in support almost 100%. Black men also came out to support Doug Jones almost 100%. But people downplayed it.
The media is going to put the headline "Black women."
I mean, that's wrong though, because you discredit. I mean, you saying the black women shouldn't even have a respect for their men. Like you said earlier, we fought side by side in this struggle because we all been criminalized and traumatized by this thing. But you still got black folks dealing with hookworm in Alabama. You just remember years ago they had the Black Panther Party versus the Rooster Party. Stokely Carmichael and all them was shooting out with the Klan. The Democrats versus the Black Panther. Come on now. And we still doing the same thing years later. We have not achieved anything from this damn voting experiment. Name me one victory that black folks were able to achieve and sustain ourselves on for generations. That meant something that came through the ballot.
Did we demand anything?
Did we demand it? Right. Because even affirmative action, who benefit most from affirmative action? White women.
Yeah.
And who classify them as minorities?
The Asians now, they're saying they get rid of it when it comes to education with college administration. The Asian Americans, they have a case, and I think they did win the case in the state of Massachusetts or with the Supreme Court. I don't know, but they were suing, to get rid of affirmative action. But what are we doing about it? That's what I'm saying. It does the blame lie on us. Like, you can't continue to blame a white man if you are not fighting, if you are not demanding anything, if you are allowing the white man to just run all over you.
Well, it's sad. You know what's sad about this whole thing? A lot of us are functional illiterates, not just R. Kelly. A lot of black folks is functional fucking illiterates. Excuse me. But go back after slavery. Within 20 years of the ending of slavery, the most literate group of people, one of the most literate group in the people were who? Black people. The most skilled labor force in the country after the Civil War were black people. That's why they created unions to keep black people from working.
Yeah.
From franchise, like I said, don't you know in lynching, the majority of people that were lynched in this country were business owners. Like Ida Wells' friends in Memphis, the people grocery lynch. They had a more successful grocer business than the white man across the street. He got a lynch mob together with some white officers. They shot back. They had their own rifle club. They shot back in self-defense to defend their property. But once they found out that they injured some white men who were police officers in that mob, they turned themselves in and they were horribly lynched. And one of the last words that Thomas Mouth said, Ida Wells was the godmother to his daughter, and he had a son on the way. He asked the white man, can y'all let me go? You had white newspapers there to witness this fucking extrajudicial killing of these black men who were upstanding citizens of this community. They were leaders, business owners. They were men trying to do right by black people. And he said, if y'all won't spare my life, tell my people to go west. They cannot get any justice here. So Memphis, you had 6,000 black people leave Memphis because Ivy Wells printed his last words in her newspaper. She owned her own newspaper. This woman was the mother of investigative journalism. She owned her own newspaper. She was brilliant. But she said, tell my people to go west. We can't get no justice here. You had 6,000 black folks leave Memphis. And guess what a lot of them ended up in? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Robert Church, the first black millionaire of the South in Memphis, he saved Memphis from destruction from the yellow fever. He helped set up black folks in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. This man was almost killed on Beale Street in his saloon during the Memphis Race Massacre, 1866. And I tell people all the time, all massacres and riots were started by police misconduct. Every single riot started by police misconduct.
I want to bring up two separate things, but it's funny because, I think we don't know enough about Ida B. Wells.
I love her, man. Oh my God.
And all that work she did, and all black people. You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So all that work she did, right? And for all those presidents, Republican or Democrat, that sat in that office from, let's say, 1912 until today, right? Forget with Senator Cory Booker and that fucking lynch bill, but they always promised a lynch bill and they never passed it, Republican or Democrat, which was a slap in our face, right? But black people always fought. And then the second thing I want to say, as far as Tulsa, Oklahoma, because I read something. I was doing a little bit of research because this year when they were awarded land jurisdiction, so it's under Tulsa, Oklahoma now is fully Native Indian land jurisdiction right now, and it was awarded to them this year. So when I was doing the research on the Black Wall Street, I didn't know. I think it was the very next town next to. I think it started with a G, Greenwood. I don't know. It's oil underneath that land. So whenever so this is me just trying to put two and two together in my own head. And it's like, that's interesting how black people who blossomed in Tulsa, Oklahoma and in the surrounding areas, the Black Wall Street. And the reason why white people hated black people who were successful.
Right.
But you had the government that did not protect black people, who actually bombed that city during the riots or whatever. But it's always a reason. It's always a reason behind everything when it comes to, especially with this government. It's a lot of oil underneath Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You know what's funny?
So you can't have black people owning.
But you know what's interesting? Like, I talk to old timers, they tell you stuff. 'Cause a lot of things we're not good gatekeepers of our history, of our story, of our narratives. They told me those planes they used to bomb Black Wall Street were black-owned planes. Those are our planes they used against us because we had no militia. We fought back. We fought back. But I'm saying they used our planes, from my understanding, to bomb us.
What company was on black planes?
But Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, they had a lot. They were doing business internationally. They cut out the white middleman, and the white folks don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about the Osage Indian murders back in the 20s, right? Osage Indians settled in Oklahoma territory. They were some of the wealthiest people per capita in the world because they was on oil. The white man thought it was useless land. But the nation, the Osage Nation, they took that land and found out it was oil. So what the white man did, they started marrying into the tribe and they started killing them people off one by one. They're working on a movie about that, starring, I believe, I want to say Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. They're making a movie about it. There's a book about the Osage Indian murders, but they was marrying into the tribe and killing these folks, knocking them out for their wealth. These white men.
Right. And then if you look at in the land, like it's very important to own land because of the resources. And
Yeah.
I don't want us to go off into this talk, but I just want to highlight something. When we look at Israel,
Right.
we look at that land, right?
Zionist. Yeah.
That land has minerals, oil, diamonds, all everything that is so rich and wealthy, that land. So it's always a reason why they are pushing out the Palestinians, even though I don't think the Palestinians, they are not the original people from there or whatever, but whoever was there pushed them out and put the Jewish people who converted to
The
Judaism,
Ashkenazi. Yeah.
yes, the Zionists, because they are not the original Jews, and placed them there. But you
Well,
look at that land, the richness and the resources that land holds is wealth there.
well, I
So,
tell you, yeah.
but my point is, and even when we look at the continent of Africa and what people are doing now, the Chinese are over there and they're building a Silk Road in East Africa. A lot of times we don't know where to start when we're doing research. And I think, and this is my conclusion I came to, if you start with what does that land offer, what resources the actual dirt land offers, what resources does that land hold? And then you'll find out why you have civil war, why you have separation of people, discrimination, and, disenfranchisement and all this other stuff.
Well, there's a couple of things. Like, I think it's very important because people are very malnourished when it comes to our knowledge of self. And all the stuff you talk about, I love talking or hearing people like you speak because they bring all these images. I'm an artist, as you can tell, but I get all these vivid images. And I'm right in Memphis. If you ever come to Memphis, it's like I told Brother Bernard, he did himself a disservice not properly preparing. It's too much richness about our people in this part of the country. And right across the river from me, over in Arkansas, something happened 66 years ago. His brother named Isidore Banks. He was one of the wealthiest black landowners in Arkansas. His brother owned 3,000 acres of land, of prime real estate, over across the bridge near I-55, where they actually built I-55. President Eisenhower, his legacy is the creation of the interstate system. And so the government, he had 3,000 acres where it not only had that, also the Trail of Tears was on his property. And what these white folks did, these Democrats that were in power over there in that county, in Crittenden County in Marion, they lynched this brother in the town. They not only lynched this black man, but they also burned his body beyond recognition. They blow torch his arm out. They castrated him and put his phallus in his mouth and left him out there over a daytime to be tortured. And this was the county sheriff who did this, Cecil Goodwin, the DA, the 5 families. We had some Italians over there. They all conspired along with some black traitors and black nicks, as like Dr. Raymond Short would call them, to take this man out. The white folks took his land and the black folks took his businesses. But he also had a black-owned cotton gin that in today's money would have been worth millions of dollars. But it's like they show Queen Sugar on. You don't have to have that. That's the real thing. This black man had a cotton gin for black people to make money. He had all that land, and they killed him.
Why did they kill him?
For his land.
Right.
He refused to sell. The government wanted that land. And the wife was, that's a lot of land. That's taken from him. So all that land, that's generational wealth loss, family trauma, generational trauma. I talked to his granddaughter and his daughter, who was 4 years old. She was put on a truck, headed up to St. Louis, said never come back here. So they took all his money. He had $93,000 in the bank back in 1954, and that money was stolen. You know what's crazy? The widow of the sheriff who killed him, she left her local church $8 million after she died. That's Isidore Banks' money.
Not even take away generational wealth from his family, which they did, but from other black people.
Exactly.
Build something in businesses, or whatever you wanted to do with your land. And so you're taking away generational wealth from other black people as well, working together.
And they stole other black folks' land too, because the sheriff was also the tax collector. So you try to pay taxes on your land, you delinquent. Don't worry about it. We're gonna take it. We're gonna seize your land.
And then
that's how they do it.
With the Freedmen Bureau, right after slavery, the Freedmen Bureau Bank was set up, and a lot of former slaves put their money in there. And when some corruption stuff went on and the Freedmen Bureau went under, the federal government took that money And they wiped out the bank, and those people, those former slaves who put millions of dollars, I think at the time was probably $50 million, were gone. They're old reparations. You took their life savings. And I've read that in Dr. Claude Anderson book.
Yeah, they still using that money. Trust me, they still using their interest off that money to this day.
Those former slaves, you wiped out their generational wealth. You took their savings. So what did they, how did they live? So when we look at welfare and we look at poor families now in the 70s and the 80s, living in the projects or just living in despair, and then you go down through their family history, you come from a family who was just poor, right?
Right.
But it's a reason behind that, because at some point, let's just take one of the former slaves who put their money in the Freedman Bank. Let's say they had $10,000, right? It was taken away from them in 1875, right? I have no money. And now you passed the Supreme Court, Presley versus Ferguson. I can't own a home. I can't own land. I can't find a job unless I'm working in a cotton field, sharecropping. So, I can't regain that wealth back. I can't regain that livelihood to sustain my family for generations down the line. So you literally put those people in poverty then and knew that their family generation was going to stay in poverty for decades and centuries to come, which is where we're at today.
This is why what Ice Cube did was so important with the contract with Black America. He said, what point of my people being taken care of, a majority of my people is catching hell, and they can't attain any generational wealth. And it's like, it's another thing. I just want to waste. I mean, you talk about Africa. It was a brother named George Washington Williams. This brother was a U.S. color troop during the American Civil War. He was 14 years old when he signed up to fight against the white supremacists, right? He was like one of our first Black historians. This man was telling folks that the Congo was the promised land. He was a Renaissance man. He was a politician, lawyer, all that stuff. But he went over there. He thought that Black folks could resettle in the Congo. And then he ran up against what King Leopold was doing over there. People need to Google King Leopold. This man confronted. This was a Black man who was born into slavery, who fought in the Civil War at the age of 14. He confronted King Leopold what the hell he was doing to Black folks. He was the first person to expose what they were doing to Black people in the Congo.
King Leopold never went to the Congo, but he sent people there, and then they had the Black people there be overseers of all of the thousands and millions of the Black workers.
He exposed that though. He was one of the first people to expose. He met, I believe, he actually met King Leopold but he exposed what was going on because he wanted to resettle there. But the thing about it is, they did a movie some years ago, not that long ago, with Tarzan, and Samuel Jackson played him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So he was a real Black man, but we don't know our story.
That was where that's where his character came
from. Him. That's George Washington. Okay. Also was a Black man who was a U.S. color troop and a lawyer from Kansas. He made a deal with the Queen of Madagascar. They were going to set us up, and them white folks destroyed him. The U.S. government, they destroyed that brother.
Now, let me say something.
That up. Yeah.
All of y'all, I don't know if Harris online, but I got to bring this topic up because I've been sending articles out all week. You see, they're saying they're gonna start sending the National Guard to certain cities. They had another protest last night in Vancouver, Washington. That's Washington State, I think. Okay. And they're saying that they're fearing election violence. As you know, Walmart was going to remove their guns off the shelf, but then they would have to do that for all Walmarts. So they said we only do it in isolated instances, right?
Okay.
So we have to be prepared, and still got Dana online, and men need to just form a wall around Dana too. But here's the problem. Like I'm saying there, like somebody told me that there might be some election day violence and white people turn up. I said, look, just if you don't want to turn up with the election day violence, just don't be out there. Let these white people nut up and knock themselves on, right? But if you out there with them, you better be prepared to fight. Because they see you Black. Yeah, they see you Black, and now they find out that Trump won his election. Now, here's a weird thing about the election, though. November 3rd is election, but actually they can count the votes to the 10th. The Electoral College doesn't meet to December 14th, and they're actually trying to have an amendment or bill they're trying to pass to extend that possibly to January 2nd.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, a lot of people don't understand that this thing is actually really, really orchestrated. They may even delay the results to cause more violence because of the angst. So you just be careful of what you're doing. I just don't be out there if you're not ready to get down with the get down.
I don't
I
think
even
no
told.
one spoke on this either throughout YouTube or whatever, or mentioned this, but because a friend of mine, he owns guns, and he trained people on how to operate guns, whatever. And he was telling me how it's a shortage of ammo everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and he said this too, something about the stock market. I said, "Yo, okay." I said, as soon as you said the word stock market, is anybody paying attention? Because they're not going to say this on none of the stock channels. Did the stock go up for the NRA, the gun manufacturing companies, and the
Okay.
ammunition? This is a perfect time to put money in gun manufacturing companies and ammunition companies because everybody is buying up guns and ammunition. I mean, white people going to do what they want, what they're going to do, but I don't understand why a whole bunch of black people. Well, let me just talk about the tri-state area here. Why are you buying a whole bunch of guns? You live in a black area. This is not the South or the Midwest where it's open carry. White people are not coming to our black neighborhoods because they don't give a damn about what we do here because black people off their own selves. You're watching TV, CNN, hyping you up, thinking you need to protect your home.
Right.
Those type of you live around white liberals, not those other type of white people. But I just wanted to bring that up.
Dana, hold on, Dana, hold on for a minute. Actually, tell you the truth, all jokes aside, you say you want to live around white liberals, they might be ones that gonna stick it to your ass though.
Oh, if we vote for Trump, probably, but
yeah,
I mean, but
they look. You know what I say?
Well,
let's have at it. I ain't worried about that. Let's have at it.
I mean, well, the white liberals, they actually don't live among black people. They have their own suburban community, but the white liberals that do live in urban cities, they live in the gentrified downtown area. So it's still separated, like up here. Like that's how we're separated from the white liberals. Like they don't live amongst us anyway. But I just thought about that. Like, what does the stock market look like for the gun manufacturing companies?
Well, what was the first commodities traded on the stock market here in America?
We were.
Exactly. We just blood sport. We just black business, but not for black people. Business is good when it's in the black, but it doesn't benefit black people at all. We're not in a position to benefit from any of this. We're just collateral damage, cannon fodder, lab rats, and guinea pigs. And we got to understand you can't get no justice in the system that all they could do. You try to beg the devil for mercy. All the devil is qualified is to do is give you more hell. You're not gonna get this justice or liberation in the system for black people.
To protect ourselves and our people.
Say that again.
You think that we should start acting like the devils ourselves to protect ourselves and our people?
You got to speak their language. The Democratic Party has a unique history of violence as it relates to black people. Think about the Wilmington race insurrection of 1898. You had the out of power Democrats, white Democrats, Dixiecrats, whatever, the forerunner to that. They overthrew the fusion government where you had whites and blacks working together that benefited black folks. You had black folks that owned land in Wilmington. You had black folks that owned businesses in Wilmington. You had black folks and black supporters.
Wilmington, Delaware?
Yeah, no, Wilmington, North Carolina, excuse me. That's where Michael Jordan was raised. But also Wilmington, North Carolina is where David Walker, who wrote The Appeal, is from. Back in the day.
Come in and destroy that city. The white people came in and killed off the black people.
Yeah, the Democrats, they ran them out. They took their land, they seized their land. Cause it was they destroyed their businesses and they threw them out of power.
So why are the Democrats? Listen, why are the Democrats? They use that story and make it seem like it's the Republicans. That's how
Republicans were our party. We were part of the Black and Tan faction. We was a part of the Republican Party. That was our party.
When they tell that story, they make it seem like.
But it was Democrats that did that. I'm in Memphis right now. The Democrats created the Klan. You had Albert Pike, this fat Paul Bunyan Santa Claus looking dude from Boston, was Confederate general over Cherokee Indians. He was living in Memphis and Shelby County back in the 1860s. This guy is a third degree Scottish Rite Freemason. And the first Grand Wizard of the Klan was Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was buried on Union Avenue in Memphis. He was one of the biggest slave traders in all of America. He was a proud Democrat. You understand? He was a delegate of the 1868 convention, but the Ku Klux Klan was founded by the Democrats.
Right, but
Abraham
the
Lincoln, vice president.
That's what I'm saying. The Democrats today, they're the ones who are creating this race war because they're trying to be the party of social justice, and it's like, and then they try to say that, oh, those racist Democrats went to the Republican Party. No, they did not. They stayed.
They stayed.
I interviewed last week. I interviewed someone, Vernon Robinson Jr. Book. Coming Home, how
it was a good show. It was a great show.
Very he knows how to talk and what to say, what not to say, but he's very factual, and I like his book. But it kind of opened my eyes to, damn, I didn't know, oh, this was happening in the Democratic Party, or this, when you understand the history of the Democratic Party and understand that those people didn't flip to the Republican side, and how the Democrats make it seem like the Republican is so bad and so racist.
No.
And I played into that. I grew up believing that. And that's what I'm saying. It's a mind thing. But
the civil rights bills could not happen without the help of Republicans back in the 60s. They helped with the
civil
rights bill.
Democrat senators and people.
The Southern Manifesto from 56. A lot of the prominent Democrats signed on that back in 56, said we're going to be against integration. But go back to 1912, you talk about Ida B. Wells. You had our black leadership like Ida B. Wells, William Monroe Trotter, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. They endorsed Woodrow Wilson. The guy went to school with Thomas Dixon, the guy who wrote the book The Klansman, which led to the movie The Birth of a Nation. He said it was like writing history lightning. They said he was the next coming of Lincoln, and what he did, he resegregated the federal government and D.C. For decades, it stood like that. So that's a Democrat.
And that's what I'm saying. No, when you go through his presidents, it doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican, they lied to us. They both sides, you could say, betrayed us to a certain degree. It's like we always stood on our own.
We know Memphis is interesting. Yeah, Memphis is interesting. Like, you talk about the vote. We always had the franchise. Memphis, as long as we voted for Boss Crumps and the Democrats, we always had the franchise. They gave us watermelon and beer on election day and chicken, and we voted Democrat to our disgrace, but we never had the struggles of Birmingham or Montgomery here in Memphis. Because when we voted Democrat, we was good.
Is it true that Memphis, because Joshua Brown said this, is majority of the voters, percentage-wise, are black people in Memphis?
We got a huge black population, but we don't vote in our interest a lot of times. It's a plantation.
Right. So I'm like, how do you have the majority vote? And
well, think about it. Majority don't say. You see, we always got this mindset of majority. The minority rules, but we're not the real minorities. We're not the real shareholders. You look at South Africa or any place, and whoever got the power and control the system, they always gonna have what they're gonna have, because we got these outdated voting machines we shouldn't even have. We should have got rid of the Debo or whatever voting machine years ago. But voting is not benefiting.
Isn't like 80% all the people of Memphis, right? 80% it's like black.
We got a nice sized black majority.
It's more of a black population than is a white population.
Yeah, it's a chocolate city, yes.
But
the minds are screwed. Our education system is screwed. You think about the best cities in America. One thing they're renowned for is the educational institutions. So you look at where your education institutions are the strongest, you have a stronger economy. You look at places like Boston or Atlanta or even Nashville. Nashville is known as the Athens of the South, because renowned for its educational institutions. They made people dumb enough down here in Memphis to throw boxes at FedEx on the plantation, at the hub, and work jobs.
Boston didn't benefit from the education.
Huh?
Black people in Boston didn't benefit from
black people. That's why they would fight so hard against the resegregation of the country, like William Monroe Trotter. He was a black back in the early 1900s. Black I'm talking about, you look at William Monroe Trotter, right? He was the first black Phi Beta Kappa at Harvard University. His father was a U.S. color troop veteran from the Civil War. He was fighting against the integration. He saw what they was doing. He owned a newspaper called The Guardian. So you should look at William Monroe Trotter, because he confronted Woodrow Wilson in the White House. You talking about Kanye West said George Bush don't care about white people. He got in Woodrow Wilson's face in the White House and said, "You a damn liar, you a crook, you corrupt, you no good bastard." And Woodrow Wilson said, "You can't come back here no more." Because people forget Woodrow Wilson was the president of Princeton University, as well as the governor of your state.
Okay, I got something to say. One thing here, and this will come up in a conversation. Now this is probably one of the last things I'm bringing up. As you see, it's November 1st, 2020, right? Got election, and we got the let's say they call it the ballot of the bullet, but I call it, well, actually, Brother Ryan called it the ballot or the vaccine.
I call it the vaccine on the right end or the mail end. The vaccine on the right or the mail end. The vaccine on the mail end.
Well, okay, and when we get a chance, hey there, where's the red? Oh, somebody asked Dana where's the red lipstick. I don't know, brother. But look, I'm just saying, as far as if we know the history of Tuskegee and so why you got these, they've been on commercials lately saying, oh, you need to take a vaccine, or get your flu shot now, and just the same rhetoric. Get your flu shot now. I'm like, the fact that Dillard University and some of these black colleges are telling you to get a vaccine shows you, hey man, we need to be there gonna get ready to beat your ass for trying to push this bullshit.
But you talk about the Tuskegee experiment, right? November 14th will mark the anniversary of the death of Booker T. Washington. We still don't really know how he died, but the guy who replaced him was named Robert Moulton. He was a U.S. Army intelligence spy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the person supposed to replace Booker T. Washington was his personal assistant, Emmett Scott. But he got overlooked, and they brought in Robert Moulton, who was U.S. Army intelligence. And that's how you got the Tuskegee thing set up. Because, the last speech that Booker T. Washington did before he died was at Yale, the home of Skull and Bones. They said they got the skull of Geronimo at Skull and Bones. George Prescott Bush allegedly stole his skull from his resting place and brought it back to Yale, and is at Skull and Bones. This is the patriarch of the Bush crime family, Prescott Bush, Nazi financier.
I'm gonna ask Dana, what do you think about this thing with the black colleges, universities trying to push vaccinations?
They are? God.
Dillard University, another university, they are saying they even got commercials now.
Well, are they pushing it for mandatory, or they're just encouraging people to get vaccinated?
They're just trying to encourage you to come and take it.
For what? For the flu, or for when the coronavirus vaccine come out?
Coronavirus vaccine and flu shots, as a matter of fact.
But so this is why I'm scared if Biden and Kamala get in office, because they're going to make it mandatory. So what they're doing now, I do have a problem with that, with the black colleges trying to convince people it's okay to get vaccinated and it's a good thing, and whatever, and it's not. So what they're doing is trying to convince people to go along with it before they make it a mandatory law. See, and that's the only difference between us and North Korea, to whereas North Korea say, this is what's going to happen right now. I don't care how you feel, what you think about it, there's no vote on it. To where in America, they try to buddy you up to it, and then they'll make it a law and mandate it. So that's just the con. And they're using boule black people, people in certain positions, to try to convince black people that it's okay to be vaccinated and to get this vaccine so we could get back to normal, whatever. I wouldn't take that shit, and I'm not taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's called, the other college is called Xavier. I couldn't remember what it was, but in DC, they actually passed a thing the other day, maybe about a couple weeks ago. Muriel Bowser, the mayor of DC, they're trying to make an act to do as we call vaccinate children without parents' consent. Also, I just want to bring this up in one more thing, and Jay Harris, you can touch on it after I finish with this point, because I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah,
they got another little thing that's going on now that the other day, I don't know if anybody heard this, Joe Biden had an interview with the Philadelphia Gay News, and he actually said this: in my first 100 days, I will pass the Equality Act. This is what he said now. This is what Joe Biden said in Philadelphia News the other day. And it's mighty weird that for some reason I've been seeing LGBT for Trump, which is actually even more weird. But for the fact that he would say that on TV, he shows you that the Democratic Party not only showed they're not going to do something for black folks, they showing you Our agenda is LGBT, queer, transgender folks. That's what they're trying to show you now.
And it goes beyond, LGBTQ having the right to marry, having a right to a job or home ownership or be able to rent an apartment. You already had that right? That was added on to Civil Rights Act.
Mm-hmm.
That's and Mr. Robinson, who I interviewed last week, he went into more details because we don't read those actual bills or those public policies. If that's passed, that means that born a boy, born a male, who identifies as a female, can play on girl sports, be in the locker room with the girls because he believes he's a girl, calling himself a girl, compete against girls, win scholarships, just wipe out the girl, the woman, you know what I'm saying? And they are allowed to sue if you speak up against that. So it's giving them more protection to sue in the court and to win. And that's a dangerous thing because me as a woman, if I object to that, I'm racist or homophobe or whatever. No, it's just that you only believe you are a man mentally, psychologically, but physically you still have a male makeup. So I can't and I'm using this as an example, as an actual example. So I can't compete against you on the track field because you're always going to win, which shuts me out. And I have a problem with that. I don't want a boy to use the same restroom as my daughter. I don't care what if you have a penis, I don't want you changing in front of my kids in the locker room or using the same shower. If kids still do that in high school, but I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that bill, that equality thing gives them the right to do it, gives them the right to sue and to win and all types of other stuff. No.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I'm afraid of the Democrats win, is that they're going to pack the courts and then they'll be able to change the law without even having the people vote. And that's what it's going to be about the LGBT community. Them being able to use the bathroom where they want to. They can do what they want to do. I mean, that's their life. I mean, I just don't like the way they force it upon us and throw it in our faces. And whatever they do with their bedroom is their business.
Yeah, but we got to study what they did. They utilized our blueprint from 50, 60 years ago, and we forgot that we created the blueprint. So everybody utilized what we done, what we pioneered, but we don't know how to hold on to the victories and sustain the victories because we don't teach our history. We don't know that. And the brother from Madagascar, the color troop, the veteran who had all that land for black folks, they took it from him. His name is John L. Waller. There's an Amazon Prime documentary, I think, still on Amazon Prime about his amazing story. That's John Lewis Waller. The brother was brilliant. We don't even respect people like him who put his life on the line for this country and try to still serve our people. So we do ourselves a disservice because we got people on the front line. We too obsessed with this bread and circuses and the celebrities. They're not going to lead the revolution. Okay, Dick Gregory sacrificed his career. I was friends with Dick Gregory for 6 years. He told me, man, when Medgar Evers called him to Mississippi, he wasn't leading the charge. It was Medgar Evers. He was support. They were raising money and awareness. They used their platform to raise awareness about the suffering of our people. And he sacrificed his career, but the idea of even Freedom Summer, that whole 64 Freedom Summer thing came from Dick Gregory delivering supplies to the black folks of Greenwood, Mississippi, when the Kennedy administration, with the Democrat, y'all love so much JFK, the black savior, white savior, he cut out the damn benefits to the black folks of Greenwood, Mississippi, because they dared to register to vote. And Dick got a plane, got help from Hugh Hefner, had a plane with a ton of food and supplies and deliver it to those black folks in the Mississippi Delta himself.
Well, I gotta say this. We got a panel of 4, so we got to get everybody information definitely on this one. So we'll start with the Queen first, and I want her to give her information.
What? Oh, where they could find me?
Yeah.
Oh, The Real Dana on YouTube, The Real Dana, and then Instagram, The Real Dana #7, and Twitter, The Real Dana #7. So subscribe.
Cash App.
Cash App, $ Dana with the data.
All right. Go ahead, Jay Harris.
Jay Harris Podcast Show. You can find me on Anchor FM, iTunes, Amazon, and you can just support right through the app. And real quick, one thing I wanted to say, because we got to be honest with ourselves sometimes. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes we hear things we don't want to hear. But in order to go to the next level, sometimes we got to just be honest with ourselves. Black men are the most desirable men in this whole planet Earth. They're the most sought after men from every other race of women in this whole world. So what it is this. We're in this fight together, black men and black women, but we're not equal. We're just not. We're not equal in status, and we're just not equal. Black men do have a higher rate in marriage. I was just reading this article, and it was saying how 15% of black men are marrying out of their race, whereas 5% of black women marry out of their race. So whether they're married or not married, majority of black men have a spouse partner. They have a life partner who they're going to be with the rest of their life.
Yeah,
Most black women don't.
That's wrong.
These are facts.
No, you just said 15% marry outside. Okay. 15% marry outside, but the rest marry a black woman. So you're saying that you get married at a higher rate. That's not that stat is not saying that. That stat is just saying you get married outside your race at a higher rate of 15 compared to our 5.
There are
but
more
majority of black men marry
than
black
there are
women.
married black women in this world.
What is
more
the,
married black men
hold
than
on.
are
What
married
is the
black women.
statistic of black men marrying versus black women? There's only like a 5% difference.
Jay Harris,
yes.
I want to say something. I just want to bring this to you. Let me say this to you right quick. You know, like you get her on your show, and you interview her because she is great. You know, get her on your show. Bring Brother Ron on your show.
I do. I definitely want her. I definitely want to talk to her.
Men try to paint this picture that black men are marrying at this large rate. No, we're actually married and not marrying on the same level.
If black men aren't married, it's because they don't want to get married. They have a life partner, though. Black women do not have a life partner. They're dying by themselves.
You don't have those stats either. But you know what the stats say? 80% of black people marry each other. Black women we are non-married, I believe, probably 52%. And let's say black men are not married at 49%. So you're talking about a less than 5% difference, which means we're on the same level of not being married.
No, we're not. Black men have a life partner.
Separate stats data. If you look at the stats, like you just said, 15% of black men marry outside compared to 5% of black women. That doesn't mean you marry at a higher rate.
I'm talking life partner, whether it's a white man certificate to say you're married or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm talking a team. I'm talking a family.
The life partner.
Okay. Hold on, bro. Hold on.
Blackdemographics.org.
Okay, well, I have the book, Black Stats, and it doesn't say life partner. Black demographic. What's a life partner? Baby daddy.
A life partner is a marriage. Is somebody who you live in your household with. So the marriage is part of it, but they don't got all the right.
What is the percentage of
some black men may be married, but they're with a woman their whole life to live in that family structure?
What is the percentage?
Single women holding households down.
What is the percentage of living with your partner amongst black people?
Hey Dana, I'm gonna send you the text he gave me, and I'll let you see it, and then y'all have a show on this one.
I mean, you can see it in society. This is obvious.
What is obvious?
You can see that
what is
there are a high rate of single black women that are heading down households. I mean, this
why is that? Where are the black men?
They're not there for the black women. They don't want to be with them for some reason. I don't know.
No.
That's
why?
something that needs to be talked about. I don't know why.
That? You got them pregnant. You were dating them. They're either dead or they're in jail. Do you realize 1.5 million black men are missing because they're dead or they're in jail?
Right. Or they're part
so it's not because you pushed them out. It's not because you don't like us or we're mean. You're dead or you're in jail. Now, if the 1.5 million were not dead or in jail and they were with that black woman, those numbers would be high. So, but that's what I mean, creating this narrative that it's the black woman's fault while we're not married. It's not our fault.
The black woman's fault.
It was a public policy designed for us to be head of household.
I'm just telling you statistics and the numbers.
Your numbers are wrong. You're off. And you're reading it wrong.
Okay.
Well, look, Brother Ron, go ahead and say what you got to say, brother. Real TV.
Well, can we all just get along? I'm playing, man. I want to thank King BJ, brother Bernard Johnson, for putting this amazing discussion together. Man, this is really he's a real connector. He's a very sincere brother. I love his revolutionary spirit. I believe he's the reincarnation of Gabriel Prosser, who was from Richmond too. King BJ, you actually came on the day before the 220th anniversary of his execution by the state of Virginia. You was here in Memphis October 9th. He was executed October 10th, 1800. He was just 24 years young. So we gotta keep these discussions going. This is the type of stuff that matters. Not football, not even church right now. Church sold us out. That's another story. But this is the stuff that matters here. And we all gotta understand that we gotta get there together. They said you can go somewhere, you can get there faster by yourself, but you can go farther together. And I want to just do a quote. You can hit me up. I got my Cash App already listed over here because you gotta, we paying dues. We're making sacrifices we're not even aware of. The alienation that Brother Bernard talked about, all this stuff, is real. And I want to read something, a quick quote from Obama's, I guess, or Donald Trump and Obama got an obsession with Lincoln, right? They both obsessed with Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln said, you can fool all of the people some of the time and some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. So black folks, let's wake up, let's use our brains, let's use that most valuable real estate between our ears, which is our mind, and get our situation right. Let's learn how to stop being oppressed and repressed by this systemic arrested development. Will not allow us to live our full potentials because they do not want us to be fully realized men and women working together to form their black family unit. So you can reach me, We All Be TV, one word, on YouTube, Instagram at R2C2H2, Twitter at We All Be.
Well, let me say one thing. I actually, Brother Rod is supposed to be judge, but I'm so, hey, look, I did something like a lady told me you don't have enough women on your podcast, so I'm glad we got the real Dana on the podcast. Dana
also, she was real. She is real. She is.
Thank you for having me. I was surprised. Mine is like a walking Black history encyclopedia. Like I could just, that's why I love listening to your channel.
I appreciate it. Well, I got to get Judge. Judge been giving some stuff. I don't know. I mean, we're just on the same page.
Everybody damn channel now.
I'll let y'all talk though. I don't want to dominate the show. I'm sorry if y'all feel like I dominated or whatever. I was talking too much.
No, I mean you were the guest. I just hopped on. So.
Okay. And I just want to thank all of you. And Dana, get Dr. Short in your program. He's a great man.
Yeah, put a disclaimer on there. Put a disclaimer. Read a disclaimer. You be all right.
Yeah. I put it in the description box. I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, they'll have them strolling down there. Y'all so afraid of Dr. Short though. It's the truth.
It's though. When he had on a gel suit, that show, and he was but when I wrote down the name of the books he was saying.
Very powerful. Yeah.
There's so many books I gotta read though. But I mean, no, he knows what he's talking about. But I be sitting there like, oh my God, really? This really? Damn.
Well, yeah, I mean, I done been to DC this year to meet him. I done been to Memphis. I've been, places. I mean, and like I was telling, I remember me and my brother. I was in 2013, 14, and we used to read books all the time and stuff. But and I always say, even Valerie Denise Jones. Actually, I met them through Umar Johnson. Actually, most of y'all. So it's kind of weird, but like I said, I just love traveling, meet people. I mean, I go to a city, I try to discover the people that's in the city, except for Vegas, which you really couldn't find nobody. That was just a weird atmosphere.
Yeah, Vegas is interesting.
But if you go to Memphis, Jersey, New York, you'll find people, Baltimore, Delaware, it doesn't matter. You'll find people that you never thought you'd meet. I used to just talk to certain people, around here in Virginia, but I said, man, I put it this way. I mean, to me, it's a downtown city in Richmond, and I get a little bit sometimes, I used to talk to my friends. She said, you spend so much time to give people the truth. You need to relax before you have a heart attack and kill yourself. And I said, well, I try to just convince you of the fact of the facts. But actually, I just want to give it to all of you, Dr. Short, and all y'all, and Judge Brown, and so many other people. Y'all actually have took a lot of stress off of me, and I do this to inform people. I don't even want any money. I just like to inform people because look, we're in a battle of wars, man, right now, spiritual and physical. So if I didn't have some of you guys in my ear talking to me and texting me and stuff all the time, right? I mean, I probably would have, I might have cloaked out by now, but I do thank all of y'all for being on the.
Can I ask everybody if who do you plan on voting for, Biden or Trump? Because I know locally, that's a different makeup, but nationally, who do y'all plan on voting for?
Go ahead, Jay Harris.
I'm glad you put on the spot.
I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump early.
Oh, you voted early. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Ron.
I voted Trump. I make sure I check my thing 3 times. I said, I don't make no mistake of voting for no Biden Harris. I voted for Trump. Matter of fact, I voted for Trump in 2016. I know I'm friends with Dick Gregory, but he said Trump's shadow. He didn't say Trump himself. And this is the shadow. We living in the shadow right now. This is the dark winter or the dark fall. But we're living, and what I love about Trump, he's the mirror to America. He is the exact value of America is. America owes $23 trillion that it's never going to pay back. Nobody knows how much money Trump owes, but he's going to never pay it back. That's America. They don't pay, they grab it by the pussy and shake. You know what I'm saying? Grab it, stick it. You know what's funny? 4 years ago, women, white and black women, said they can't stand a woman boss. So Hillary didn't even have that. Even though a lot of black women vote, a lot of black women or white women don't like women bosses.
They're bitches.
Well,
there you go. And Hillary, come on. She laughed at Gaddafi.
I mean, a white woman boss is worse.
There you go. That's the white man's bottom bitch. Pimping is pimping. Pimping is pimping. I'm from Memphis. Pimping is pimping.
This is what I tell Brother Ron all the time. I tell Brother Ron, no, I'm going to tell you something. I tell Brother Ron all the time. If you give it a gun in my hand, tell me vote for Trump, I vote for him, and give me a gun, I vote for Biden. Those are not the options, right?
Uh-huh.
I said earlier this year, no reparations, no vote. I'm going to stick to it. But if somebody say, well, let's go to the poll. I said, all right, I'll put Bernard Johnson on there. Or I'll put Brother Ron or the real thing.
But the no vote, your no vote is a form of vote. You protest against an insane system that don't respect black people. We the one insane for the damn thing. Because they don't even count a lot of our votes. Think about 1960. You had dead people in Chicago voting for Kennedy. Nixon won that. In 1968, you had 9 million votes for Dick Gregory, the right-wing candidate. This is before Kanye West, all them. They gave him 9 million votes, and them white folks took it back. Somebody was a mistake.
Well, I mean, it seemed like y'all voted early. I like to go to the poll and vote. So I'm going to the poll on election day and vote, and I will be voting for Trump. But now down ballot is a different makeup. I do have to vote for some Democrats and stuff like that locally, but national president, I'm voting for Trump. Biden and Kamala, they scare me. And
they should.
Yeah, they should. And I don't want to sound like a racist, but
you're not a racist. You just
I'm not here for Hispanics. I'm not here for illegals. I'm not here for DACA. It's about me and my people. Period.
Well, I am I am so glad that we had real Quay data on here. Like I said, y'all are a breath of fresh air and the light. And I think that I got something you like, because like I told you, I done had some weird life experiences, and hey, good, bad, neutral experiences. But I do thank you, and I will say, may Almighty God bless all of you, and thanks for coming on with me today.
Yeah. But also, let me add this. Before I voted for Trump twice, I voted for Obama twice. I went to both his inaugurations. I went in the red. I went to debt going to the inauguration. Actually, the last time I voted for him, I rushed back home from Maryland. I had some decent WAP in Maryland. And I left there and got lost in the Blue Ridge Mountains for 2 hours. Almost ran out of gas. And I was speeding through by Virginia Tech. They gave me a $330 speeding ticket in the state that he wasn't even win. You know what I'm saying? I was speeding home to try to vote. in the state that he had no goddamn chance of winning, which was Tennessee.
Wait,
So
wait,
don't
wait.
tell me about McCoon and Trader and Seller. I
You
don't
said
care.
you went broke going to the inauguration. Like, how much is that to go there?
I mean, think about it. I drove from Tennessee twice when it both happened in 2009 and 2013. Just the hotel stays, everything goes up real high. Gas, hotel stay, food, all that stuff. It run you.
You had to pay for your ticket too, or?
Nah, they let you get the ticket, but you ain't gonna have no good seat. And we out in the cold. He left us in the cold both times. We was out in the cold for hours, feet hurting, all that stuff, and he left us out in the cold. Black folks, Obama did. So don't tell me like shit. They said Ronald Reagan voted for FDR twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Look. Hey, look. We left you in the cold for 8 years. People in Chicago longer than that. That he was a senator, and he trying to get you back. But like I told a guy, he don't even have that pull no more among a lot of black folks. So, it is what it is.
But Obama could only you know what Obama did, his legacy? He legitimized Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Legitimized Joe Biden. The only people he can get elected is himself and Donald Trump. And if Obama ran right now, he could probably win. That's the crazy thing.
What, presidency?
I
Yeah.
don't even think so.
He could win still. There's a lot of folks that love him.
Yeah, but presidency or governor somewhere?
Yeah, he could win. They allowed him to run a third term. He could have won 4 years ago. They allowed him to run. He's just very popular among certain types of people, especially black folks. A lot of us are brainwashed and brain dead.
It's a lot of black votes that would not vote for him if he ran. That would automatically.
But he'll get the illegals because they'll let them vote. He'll get the illegal vote. He'll get the LGBTQ mafia. He'll get that.
That's why they want the illegals to come in here.
Dana's right. Dana's actually right because you know something. They said that what is it? That Hillary won the popular vote, right? But in California, New York, they had a lot of illegals, and actually they were ballots that were thrown out. So really, it tells you you might not even know that because there was a lot of illegals voting in those states.
And they don't count out our votes anyway. Yeah, they don't count our votes. A lot of times mail-in votes don't get counted.
Right. If Joe Biden come out and win, they're going to replace black people with illegals and Indians because
Kamala Harris, she got that thing. She's trying to get in.
Have that H-1B1 like crazy. Like, she's not for black people. Never was at all.
She's an Asian American though. She claimed she's the first Asian American senator, right? All that bull crap. First Indian senator. Come on.
Let me say something. What did Stalin say? It ain't about the votes. It's who counted the votes.
Yep.
That's right. But Jay Harris, Dana, and Brother Ron, thanks for blessing me with y'all President's Day.
Yep. I'm gonna send you an email.
You said you can send me an email?
I'm gonna email because I'm gonna do a show.
And matter of fact, don't forget Dana has the 10K project that she's
that's one of my sponsors, the 10K project. I'm gonna start promoting them Tuesday because I'm gonna be doing my Magadol show, me and Number 9 on election night. Well, so actually, I'm gonna send y'all an email because I want y'all to pop in through Zoom on election night.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna find out who won though. It's gonna be
we're not gonna find out who won, but
like Brother GBJ said.
Part of all that.
Well, I call in Dana's show pretty frequently, so that would be
you a super fan. You a real fan. I'm a fan of hers too. It's an honor to be on the same show as
Dana. Like I said, right? I was like, I like you for years, and I'm like, okay.
Hey, what's wrong? Why can't get okay? No, man, this is another show. I ain't gonna even talk about this right now. This is weird. Oh my God, go talk about it. I thought of we just don't know how to communicate with each other, man. Black men and black women, we need to try to get on the same page.
You got one guy in Texas, one guy in Memphis, and she's in New Jersey. Everybody, be safe and on election night, and send us a Zoom link, and we'll come in there.
I will.
We love y'all, man. Thank y'all, man. Thank you, King BJ, once again. Appreciate it.
Black power, brother.
Black power.
You guys have a good
day.
Yeah, too. Yeah, you did a great job, man.
All right, you too, brother. Well, you have a great day. I thank you for.
I worked out today, and I had this crazy show and love it. I'm about to share this show too, man. I'm about to upload it too. I gotta make sure this get out there too as well. You did a great job.
All right, brother. Well, you take your time.
You too, man. You take care. Have a great one.
You too.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that Django review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.